Recorded live from their studio in Los Angeles, California, it's Brett and Alex in the Super Beard Show, featuring Jirard the Completionist Khalil. This week, the news, ultimate question time, and as always, Patreon presents Fan Q&A. The date is February 3rd, 2023. Support this podcast at patreon.com/superbeardbros. My name is Ted Coonrod. Enjoy the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 15th ever episode of the Super Beard Show. I'm Alex. That's Brett. Ted's over there chilling in the fucking hole of darkness. I can't see the top half of his body. Yes. This episode's called The Tides of Change, brought to you by PK Kirby. Came up with the title. And today is a very special day, gang. Today, we opened the portal. We brought the guy we call boss. Ted calls him Papa. Yes. The internet calls him Jared.
On your left.
It's him, my wingman. Here he is, Jirard Khalil.
That's me. Hello, everyone.
He's here.
I'm here for the first time. Huge fan of the show.
Yeah.
We used to do a podcast. I feel like we did 3 podcasts already.
We have, yes.
3 podcasts of like various TOVG things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to it, Jirard.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm happy to be amongst the fine folks here again. It feels weird, but it feels good.
It's weird because in one way, this is Jirard guesting on the Super Beard Show. Mm-hmm. Because it kind of is that. That's just what it's going to be today. We're going to do our normal show and he's going to be here. But it's also like actually genuinely the return of Jirard to the channel as like a regular fixture on the channel, which is kind of like, how long has it been actually?
Well, it's weird to say it because I've done a few guest appearances here and there, and we still have some Beard Bowl stuff to finish up. But, like we had the Balan Wonderland.
Since you said, hey guys,
I don't think I ever said I was leaving.
You said it to me. Yeah. Like backstage.
Yeah.
When you were like, I have to go to G4 like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Like it's been like what, 20 months?
Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was June of 2021 where I announced and was gone.
Yeah.
And I was still around on Beer Bros until probably October. That's when I was really gone.
You haven't like left, but you haven't been in a show either.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild that you're just back in. Pretty nuts.
Yeah. Feels good.
Yeah.
Jirard, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Because of the way that we're sitting, I have literally...
You want me to move the microphone?
No, I want you to move yourself.
Just come a little, yeah. Come into the trio, yeah.
Thank you.
Take it to the bridge.
Dirty, babe.
Babe.
Ted, no. You can stay behind the TV. That's okay.
I think I'm on the cord.
Ted, just please get out of my sight. You can stay here, but just get out of my actual sight.
Yep. Wait.
So normally this is part of the show where we just have our little news segment where we bring... we each bring a current event to talk about, a little icebreaker. But because you're here, you're like our first like proper guest on the show that we've had. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to not just our patrons, but everybody.
Oh, okay.
And got a bunch of different stuff. So we're going to get into the Q&A at the end, and that's going to be where we hear from people from YouTube and all the places else that you can write stuff.
Did you tell everyone that I was coming back?
Okay. Yeah. This is all like a special episode with a lot of fan interaction.
Great.
So for the news, I asked people to send us topics that have happened in the last week or so for us to talk about.
Sure.
And so
oh boy,
I'm totally blind to all this.
Oh boy.
So the first one that we're going to go into, and this is the only one that I needed a link for, is that the Associated Press used the phrase the French.
You okay?
Yeah.
This is a tongue twister that got sent to us.
The phrase the French in a list of dehumanizing terms on Twitter. And I believe that if I'm paraphrasing it correctly, what happened was that the Associated Press said that one of the things that you do is when you refer to a group of people, like as in the French.
Yeah.
And so everybody thought that was so funny and like us insulting to the French that they actually had to write, we did not intend to offend. Writing French people, French citizens, etc. is good, but the terms for any people can sound dehumanizing and imply a monolith rather than diverse individuals.
What?
So that's what happened.
This sounds like some splitting hairs bullshit.
Well, on the part of millions of people online, sure. You know what I mean? But they had to apologize literally because enough noise was made.
Okay.
So it's kind of...
just seems would anyone say the same thing if they said the Spanish or the Portuguese?
I think that part of it is that in general, I would say that Americans and Europeans have a common sort of problem where we love to dump on the French a little bit. I think,
like doing like bad French impressions, talking about French fries.
Yeah.
Well, more so that like,
in America,
the French, they surrender, they suck, they stink, and they're rude, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. There are many negative stereotypes about French people.
Remember the freedom thing?
Right.
Freedom fries?
Like instead of saying French for whatever reason.
If people just are, if they say like, oh, French people suck, like the problem is still there.
When I hear the word, like the term, the French, I think of like, we're going to talk about them in the past tense of like historical contextualization.
Sure.
Yeah. Like the French invaded the British. Sure. Like that to me is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I get that. And I think what happened here is what happens on the internet a lot, which is where the bad fan interpretation is the one that people are like, yeah, that's the real one. We're mad at that.
Yeah.
Obviously, like if you read what the Associated Press said, it's obvious that they did not mean anything shitty by it other than that to say the French, you know, if you think about it, it's like you're looping people together. I think it's kind of weird because I think like it is accurate and does make sense.
Yeah.
And it just means people from France.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really imply any sort of...
Yeah, all those other phrases that were just mentioned in that article that you just quoted.
French people, French citizens.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the same shit. Like, are people going to get offended about that too?
Yeah, I can kind of hear how it sounds a little bit more like a slur, like just in some sort of like holistic grammatical way, I guess, like just giving full benefit of the doubt to the people. But like, I don't really agree that they needed to publish an apology for that, though I guess people were offended. So I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah. Super weird one.
I just want to move on. This is depressing.
That one was from Tyler. Shout out to Tyler.
Hey, thanks, Tyler.
Tyler.
The fuck?
Next one's from Baronade. Him. You want to take this one?
Me?
Yeah, sure.
Now that GoldenEye is released on Switch Online, I'm seeing a lot of discussion on the value of the service. Do you think the service is worth it? If not, what would you say would make it worth the price? So to be clear, for those of you guys who don't know, he's talking about Nintendo Switch Online services. And as of right now, it's $20 a year. If you get the premium version of that, which I think is 35 or $40, I'm not 100% sure. But if you get the premium version of the live service, you get all the DLC for Mario Kart 8 and Animal Crossing.
Pretty much all.
And I think also you get some more games on all the live services like N64.
So here's how it actually works. There's one level that gives you NES and Super Nintendo.
And then the second level.
And online play.
So
that's like one thing. And you also get chat with that and a few other things. You get like, there's like promotions of like, if you play these games, you can get like these avatars or whatever.
Sure.
Then if you pay like the extra bonus, both of these things way cheaper than Xbox or Sony, first of all. But then if you pay a little bit more, that's the one that gives you the DLCs for stuff and gives you Sega Genesis and 64 and Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And that's
I still think is a bizarre thing to do.
I get why. And I think that it's a little bit sexier to announce things on Nintendo 64 because there's still some like mineable nostalgia there for like the general audience.
Well, N64 is notoriously one of the worst consoles to emulate.
Right,
because
exactly.
Every publishing house and developer house outside of Nintendo and second parties had a hard time utilizing the hardware. So that's why, like Project 64 is always having tons of updates till this day in some capacity, just because it's hard to emulate proper N64.
Yeah, I agree. But the question is the service worth it? And what would you say would make it worth it? And personally, for me, as somebody who uses this service pretty regularly, like I do think that there is value to the service. Like if you are like me, I think especially, I think there's
I'm looking
value.
up the price for it. I apologize.
I think if you're like me, there's value to the service. I like seeing these ports of these really weird games. Like if you look at the list of SNES games, if you look at the list of NES games, there's some really strange pulls in there. They pull games from Japan only sometimes. They even do these things where they like do like a special kind of like hack of the game or like a special save state of the game that you can access. Where it's like, hey, if you want to play
the SP versions of older games.
Like, hey, if you want to play like Zelda 1, but you don't want to like do all the work, here's like a version where you have all the items from the beginning. So it's like a little bit more modern of an experience, right?
So it is $49.99 a month, and
just for the good one.
for the expansion pack is what it's called. It's called Nintendo Switch Online, right? Individual membership, Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack. $50 a year per person.
Yeah.
It comes with the N64 library, all the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, the Animal Crossing New Horizons. It comes with Splatoon 2's expansion as well, which is the Octo expansion. And then, of course, access to Sega Genesis games as well. So it kind of incorporates all the generic pots that don't line up with Nintendo's retro stuff.
And like I say, like I have the interests of like the equivalent of like somebody who works at a record store, but for video games. I actually care to go back and play one of the many caveman-based platformers on Super Nintendo. I'm actually excited to go check out Sin and Punishment for N64 on the service. I got hype when Pilot Wings put out its thing. That's for me. I think it's valuable. I think it's worth it for me.
You think it's worth $50 a year?
As for me, as a marketing person, I would say that I believe that almost no one is getting value out of Switch Online. I know that there are people who do play some of the games. I bet like, for example, Kirby's Dream Course probably gets a lot of play. Probably the Marios and Zeldas get a lot of play. But like any publisher is going to put their games out themselves. Any publisher is going to put out like the Capcom collection. The Final Fantasy collection is about to drop. All these things are going to come out and you're going to pay for them. So in that way, I feel like the best games on there for people to want have probably already long been out. And so for me, I think it's exciting and cool from like a cultural perspective, but I don't think that I would say that if they wanted to make it really worth it, that they need to put like game trials, like more game trials or something involved so that you can play games that are out. Like there should be like demo versions of a lot of new Nintendo first party games that you can play for free. I think people would play it more. I could be wrong. And maybe the Beard Bros audience isn't the like best demo group of people to talk to about this, because a lot of them are going to have similar interests to us probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like probably like question of the day, regular question. What have you been doing with Switch Online, you people out there? But that's my thought on it. What about you?
I don't use it.
You don't use it at all?
No.
Well, you do.
Are you subscribed to it at all? Mm-mm. The $20 or $50 one? Not at all.
Mm-mm. Do you use it?
I have not. I use the $20 one. I have not purchased the additional expansion pack.
It's pretty cool. Like Sin and Punishment's on there. Sega Genesis has some wild games on there. Shining Force. Like,
I think the reason why I didn't buy it is because sometimes the marketing stuff that these companies do are not crystal clear enough for me to interpret it. I had the same problem with the PlayStation Plus packages.
That is a mess.
That's a whole nightmare, right? PlayStation Plus now has 3 additional tiers. It's like basic, ultimate, and premium.
Yeah.
Basic, ultimate, and basic ultimate.
Yeah. That's essentially what it is. Yeah.
And one of them has like, if you get this tier, you also unlock the Ubisoft Plus, which is like more games that just fit into all the other categories, but it's like you get access to the game library and to Ubisoft Plus. You're like, I don't know what this is.
The weirdest one is that the highest edition of PlayStation Plus is that you can now play classic PS1 and PS2 games, but they've been retrofitted to have classic achievements.
They're 4K. They're like beautiful.
So you can play like something like Wild Arms, one of my favorite RPGs, but there's now achievements that were not there in Wild Arms 1 that are now retroactively there. And that to me is weird. I think that is a super weird value bonus that they really were like, we're going to port old games and give them achievements. It's just super bizarre. I think it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. They literally did put out just recently Star Wars Demolition as one of the games. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? They ported that to 4K. It's just wild.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, as far as I'm not using the service for GoldenEye. I think it's a bizarre move that Nintendo basically said we will agree to let Microsoft also share the wealth of playing GoldenEye in 4K on a modern Xbox, except online is for us.
Yeah,
the one company who notoriously has bad online service play is the one that's like, give us GoldenEye.
It's because they already had it built in. They didn't do any extra work.
Oh, of course.
They brought in 2 separate dev teams, I think, to port each version of the game.
Yeah.
And also, like, the online for Switch is just the same as their regular online.
Yeah, it's not even that. No game. The thing that's crazy is that no game on the Nintendo Switch online service actually has online play.
Yeah.
What it is it lets you basically connect to another user's Switch as player 2 through 4.
Yeah, to pretend like you're playing,
pretend that you're playing
like local
online. Yeah. So the main host person who's playing, they don't have any lag, but the person who's connecting, they have the lag.
Honestly, to me, that's the most undervalued thing that's going on with that. Like, if people were like who I'm imagining gamers are, and besides who they actually are, like, I'm imagining it's exciting for most people to like, hey, you want to like meet up and play Mario World together, like me and you? Like, wouldn't that be fun? Right? Which would be fun. Right?
Yeah, Proton John and I did Ninja Gaiden 1 together on stream. And that was a lot of fun because we would just
I did it with
virtually switch players. Like, I'd be player 1, John be player 2, I'd die, and then we would just tag team in.
That's the sick things you can do with single player games too. I think that alone needs to be like
the selling point.
Bolstered. Yeah, and it has chat. Like, it's pretty good. It's just really weird, just like everything Nintendo makes. That's just kind of how it is.
Poorly advertised. You don't really know what you got.
Yeah.
And very weirdly fit into the Nintendo mold.
All right. I think we're good with that one, right? Nobody has anything else to say about that. Ted, do you use it?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you, Baronade.
Next one's from Johnny Walker. Says, Jason Momoa talked with the heads of DC about playing a new character. Could it be Lobo? I don't know that he even confirmed that it was about playing a new character. I don't know what exactly he did with Jason Momoa and James Gunn. I don't know what they talked about. But this morning, James Gunn did announce the entire slate of new DC movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. And there's no Lobo on there.
Did they cancel a lot of what was already in the works, or?
Almost certainly, but Shazam is still coming out. Flash is still coming out. Aquaman's still coming out. And one other thing is still coming out that I can't remember what it is. And then the new things are Superman Legacy movie, a new Batman movie based on the Grant Morrison Batman with Damian as the son.
Oh, so they're not making a sequel to the Batman movie from last year?
So they're still keeping things like that around, but now it's going to be very clear when stuff is in Elseworlds, which is like non-connected, and when things is the real stuff. And the real stuff's going to be like across, like one of the new things is a TV show with Amanda Waller with Viola Davis.
Yeah,
again.
Waller.
Yeah. And that's going to be Viola Davis's Waller in DC, in the games, in the TV shows, in the cartoons, in everything.
So is she kind of like she's like the brand organizer for everything DC?
Well, I'm just saying all the new characters are going to be like that.
Sure.
So anybody who's in new shit, that's how it's going to be.
Gotcha.
Lobo, I don't know. He did say that the Flash movie's resetting the DC universe, which makes me think it's going to be like a Flashpoint movie. No mention of Lobo, but it could happen in many different ways.
Yeah.
There's also a Lanterns cop show that I'm excited about, but I don't know what Jason Momoa could be on about. It could be that the universe shifts and now Aquaman is Lobo. Who fucking knows? I don't know. It seems like it's going to be kooky.
The only thing I've really enjoyed from the DC universe lately has been the Peacemaker show with John Cena. That show was really great.
Truly good.
Probably the one of the big and Shazam was pretty fun too. Shazam was great. Everything else I've had little to no interest.
Shazam had Jumanji energy to me. It felt very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I don't know. Lobo? You think a Lobo movie's ever going to happen?
Starring Jason Momoa as Lobo?
Yeah. Would you cast that?
He could do it. Sure. Why not?
Yeah. I feel it. It would be weird if they were both being played by Jason Momoa for sure. But that's just one more barrier to cross, I think. I don't know. Jason Momoa looked so happy I'll put that out there. He looked so happy whatever happened, and that like makes me feel better in a way. I don't know.
I like Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
he was fun as Aquaman. The movie wasn't amazing.
I loved that dumbass movie.
He was fun.
That movie was wacky as
I think
hell.
we saw that movie all together, all the three of us, during our
Christmas deals.
Our Christmas deals. We haven't done one of those in a while, but we used to, every year we get together the day after Christmas and binge watch a bunch of movies in the theaters, but we haven't done it obviously because of COVID.
Yeah, they announced they're going to take us out of a state of emergency in May. So I don't know.
In May is when COVID is like finally done.
That's when they think it's going to be back pretty much to how it was before.
Sure.
We got to get a new emergency going then.
Yeah. Hey, well, you know what? Just wait. I bet you there will be one.
Let's extend this lockdown.
Yeah.
Like somebody continuing to vote not guilty in like a hung jury because they just want their fucking chicken wings to arrive.
That guy who loves democracy so much.
Right. I'm up to 12 angry men this shit.
12 hungry men.
12 hungry. There it is. There it is.
Next question comes from Marissa. You want to take this one?
Marissa says, Chat GPT and the implications. Unclear if humans are AI or writing news articles, scientific reports, literature, any.
Yeah.
Is this a question?
Yeah. It's
a topic. So Chat GPT has been the most recent conversation in the beginning of the year. Essentially, this
is the worst. This is actually, to me, way worse.
This is basic. I don't know if you know about this, Brett, but basically there's a AI computer situation called Chat GPT. You can communicate with an AI like via almost like a
I remember that was called Cleverbot.
This is like that, except you can give it like a prompt and
you can say,
genuinely
"Hey,
write a full
Chat
article.
GPT, what is your opinion on Hitler?" And then he'd be like, "Hitler is this person." It's like, great. What if I told you Hitler was bad? And they would go, "Oh, Hitler's bad? Great. I now recognize that Hitler is bad." And and basically people have talked to, messed with, and manipulated with this bot enough that it's starting to create images. It can create news articles. It can create, really pretty much anything it's been trained to.
It's basically the AI art debate, AI art versus regular art debate, but it's about text.
Okay.
And it's a much colder and more devastating war in that, for example, BuzzFeed said that 14% more of their articles are going to be completely written by a computer going forward. So they don't have to hire as many people.
So they're going to not have humans write articles, but in fact just have robots.
And you won't.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and I've read articles written by Chat GPT, not realizing that they were.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
This is Skynet. This is it. We've been talking about it for 3 decades now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense considering that, like, people want usually very specific things from their news, quote unquote. So like, as long as they get what they want, regardless of the source, like, doesn't matter. Sure.
Yeah. We're kind of at a place that I think people don't want to accept yet. I think people, especially our age, are like unwilling to see the writing on the wall here a little bit. Like, what we think of as like the arts and entertainment is about to like take such a major shift in a way that's like so trippy. Like
I know recently I just saw that they're using stuff like Chat GPT to create algorithms to make it so that actors like no longer, like, you don't need to tell an actor how to do a performance. You can correct it just with the algorithms of the AI. So like, let's say you're on set in the desert and the character's crying because the sand is coming in their face so much, it's so intense. They can make it so that the person has 0 tears. They can determine
change what language
they can change what language they're speaking in.
Like,
they can change where they're looking at the focal point in the camera in case the actor their eyesight was messed up. And the big thing that's crazy is that they can determine if they're crying, if they're happy, if they're angry, if they're sad. And it just looks as if the person did it.
Yeah. And
that's where this is kind of going. This is going to turn into AI versus humans on a nuclear level.
Yeah. Like if you look at like, let's go back to DC for a minute, right? Who's your favorite Batman in DC history?
My favorite Batman?
Like in live action Batman. Christian Bale, George Clooney.
Live action? I probably would go with Robert Pattinson. I really love the new Batman that came out last year.
I liked him very much. What about you? Favorite movie Batman?
I guess Bale.
Yeah. My favorite is probably Michael Keaton. I'll put that out there just to give us a nice 3 spot. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to just
have a movie with the 3 of them.
It's not even a movie. It's like you go into like DC Studios app and you go, I want to see the Long Halloween with R. Pattinson Batman with Two-Face is Billy D. Williams from the 80s, like Harvey Dent, and I want it to be with the Joker from
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, like literally like Jared Leto's Joker. Give me that movie now.
Yeah.
And people don't have the context anymore. Like, already people's reviews of movies are just whether or not they like the movie.
Yeah.
For like their own arbitrary reasons.
Yeah.
The foundational sort of like communication based elements of movie, collaborational elements are breaking down.
Yeah.
And we're just getting to a point where either there's going to be room for it or there isn't. But the things that we all do, the things that we currently right now see as the entertainment industry are going to be relegated to some sort of like Luddite. We're going to be like the Amish, basically.
Well, the topic of the big kind of problematic thing happening right now in the Twitch and YouTube space is that, and I don't want to name names because everyone already knows about the drama, but basically the deep fakes for porn are starting to get so crazy that people are taking content creators on Twitch and YouTube and fantasizing.
Just fucking them, basically.
People fucking them. And so the AI is so crazy good that like these content creators are saying, hey, stop fantasizing about me. Stop sexualizing me and using it against me. More importantly, like respect my fucking privacy because none of this is real. But
why content creators? Why not like I it's hard for me to imagine that any person on YouTube, aside from like maybe the top 3 people, are having more deep fakes made about them for the purpose of pornography than like a celebrity.
I think it's just purely like availability. Like think about how many hours there are of like, I'm not going to say any names, but like some of these people who stream so much and then
like we don't see.
So you're saying it's because of the glut,
the sample size,
of footage of their face.
Yeah,
there's a lot of actors out there have a lot of FaceTime.
That's
too.
true. I still think
I'm just surprised to hear that it's YouTubers that are like this needs to stop as opposed to like celebrities.
They probably like.
Well, I mean, celebrities have been doing that for years. Like
that's what I'm saying.
They don't have leaks, but
they probably don't have the legal either.
Well, to me, I think the reason why people are so infatuated with it is because like. Just take a random celebrity. Let's take Zooey Deschanel. Zooey Deschanel does not stream on YouTube or Instagram or Twitch. So like you don't really have a personal insight into who Zooey Deschanel is.
You just like her characters.
You see her character work. You see her in interviews on Oprah or whatever on late night. Like that's what we know. We know limited information.
So you're saying
as a personality,
people are tend to make more of these deep fakes of these YouTube people because they erroneously believe that they know them better due to the parasocial relationship.
Correct. The parasocial relationship.
That's weird as fuck.
Well, but it's also the rise of the influencer.
Much more attainable.
Like the fact that when Alex and I go to conventions together and our tables are more full than Casper Von Diem of Starship Troopers.
Well, he might not be the best.
I'm from Buenos Aires.
I say kill them all. Right.
Okay, Casper Van Diem, that makes sense. Let's say Nolan North. Let's say Nolan North.
But that did happen.
That's what I'm saying.
That did happen.
It's a much better example because Nolan North is much more famous than us.
Much more famous than us.
In that demographic.
Yeah, we're in the same field technically.
But everybody comes to talk to us. And not only that, people like, I don't want to say they bully me in a way where I'm like trying to victimize myself. I'm just saying people come to me and they're like, they push my buttons and they like,
expect the result.
They kind of like good-naturedly rib me.
Yeah, they treat you like they think that you're a friend.
Yeah, with the familiarity of somebody that they do not, that I am not.
Come up to me like, what's up, douche? And I'm like, nigga, you don't know me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, obviously I'm just some round dude with a beard talking about video games, but like if I was hot and I was interesting, like that's like close to fucking. Mm-hmm. That's close to feeling like you could fuck me compared to,
so you're telling me I should be searching for Beard Bros deepfakes?
I wouldn't be surprised if
Ted, will you edit this part out of the video? I don't want anyone to even think about that.
You know what?
Too late. It's already out there.
This part's going to be even louder and clearer now.
And great. Thank you, Ted.
Only subtitled
it's
part.
Great.
Brett like,
can you do me a favor?
Regardless of that, I think people should respect people's imagery and stuff like that and leave it alone. But that's the problem, is that eventually we're not going to have a choice. The bots
sexual assault, kind of.
It's digital sexual assault,
kind of,
that eventually will just become automated. We're not going to have a choice.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come first, but I'll tell you this. What I just said about DC, right?
Oh, I believe that.
Porn's going to have it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what always happens.
Yeah.
So just think about that. But that's the news.
That's a fascinating array of conversations we've had so far.
That was very interesting to me because those aren't necessarily places that I would go in our news. Like usually my news is like, I saw the DeLorean.
I saw Andor on Disney Plus. What did you think, Alex?
Yeah, that's pretty much how the show.
Thank you guys for your submissions.
Thank you. We really appreciate that. And now we've come to the body of the show, which is all about Jirard. Pretty much.
Oh no!
I asked people to ask us a lot of questions, and I did 3 things. So this is going to be called. Excuse me. This is going to be called. I burped. This is going to be called a question time.
Great. Oh, was there a chime?
I'm going to put a.
Yeah, but it's in there. What you just said is part of it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
From now on.
Yeah. From now on. Question time.
From now on, whenever it's question time, you're also going to hear great.
It's going to be great.
Great. Perfect. Perfect.
So
Great.
I separated the questions into 3 categories because I felt like if I just let it be open season, if I just go, hey, Jirard's going to be on the show. What do you want to ask about?
They're going to ask him, my cop, did Alex kill the Pikachu? All that stuff.
So I asked in 3 categories. The first category of questions that I asked was questions about video games and your job.
Okay.
And I said, I opened this to everybody, but I know everybody's going to ask you. So
yeah.
So a lot of them are probably going to be geared towards you.
Sure.
We're just going to get through them. I got a lot of questions. I really want to thank everybody for how quickly they responded to this. Everybody jumped right on this one. You want to take the first one?
Tim says, if you had 1 month to make a game, what would it be? Assume you have a team of experienced developers, artists, etc. that can make it happen. But it has to be a quote unquote small game. My man hit me with triple quotes.
That's small.
Actually, no. I see what you're doing. You're close, but I see what happened here. Okay. Small. Yeah. It has to be a small game. 1 month. All right, Jirard, what's it going to be?
I would make a pixel fighting game. Really pretty.
You'd make a fighting game?
I'd make a pixel fighting game.
In a month?
Yeah, because it's easier to, in my opinion, based on my experience with game dev, it's easier to make that sandbox of testing than it is to fully flesh out pure level design with loopable or extendable.
Yeah, you don't want to make
systems.
A game that has like 1 million stages.
Right. Yeah. So if you're saying I have a month, I'm going to go, great. It's a pixel fighting game, like a 16-bit or 32-bit Saturn fighting game. That way all the frames and all that stuff from a cost perspective is easy to hone in on, and your background doesn't need to be too incredibly detailed. So
Makes
from a budgetary perspective,
I was just surprised considering I'm just thinking of the balance taking forever.
Perfect game.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But Jirard never said I just have to be balanced.
Yeah, true. Well, look, they said it's a small game. So to me, a small fighting game is a easier thing to do than a sprawling 2D platformer.
But does it have to be a sprawling 2D platformer? Can it be a small 2D?
Not necessarily, but like a small 2D platformer to me is like 9 stages. That's still a lot of work, right? Like that's like Sonic 1 is like 6 stages long. It's not as big as everyone remembered it to be.
Mm-hmm. Team of experienced developers and artists. Yeah. What about you?
Probably make some sort of card game.
Oh yeah. That's pretty clean. Like some kind of like PvP one.
Sure. Maybe not. But something
like a Hearthstone or like a Marvel.
I'm not talking about digital. Like a card game.
Oh, word. Okay.
Just like right? Because it's just a game.
You're right.
So something with cards, probably.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I used to think of you like primarily as a cards guy.
Why is that?
Like Magic the Gathering?
Because like the 3rd or 4th time that I ever like hung out with you in a like social setting that wasn't specifically around practicing improv.
Yeah.
We like went into the back patio or something, and then you like whipped out it looked like you were about to pull out like your art portfolio.
Yeah. But it was just like was it like a stack of cards?
Yeah, you were like the cleaner from Pulp Fiction, but it was just like a bunch of cards.
Was it like a what are those called? A binder full of cards?
No, it was bigger than a binder. It looked like the things my brother used to use to like organize his Legos. Like it was like a bunch of different things, and you were like showing somebody like 5,000 10,000 cards.
That sounds like a fat PAX. That sounds like.
Yeah, it was big.
Hey man, I like Magic the Gathering. What can I say?
I vibe with that. I used to play the shit out of that in high school for a while.
I used to make fun of the kids in high school that played it.
Yeah.
MTG. What about you, Alex? If you're making a game, you had a month. What is it?
1 month. I would make an open world village, like a little explorable village that doesn't really have a lot of mechanical quest design.
Mm-hmm.
It would mostly be talking to people, and it would be kind of interesting and experimental, writing focused, almost like issue 1. Like imagine you made a zine that was a game, and it's like all set in one town. I would do like
almost like Comic Zones,
like an RPG Maker game that's like a visual novel, but like month 1 is like issue 1.
Oh, I see.
And then maybe like if it does well, maybe next month we like
progress the story,
change. Yeah, like
that sounds like the Walking Dead video game episodic structure.
Oh yeah.
That,
the
but
Wolf
like,
Among Us,
but like with the storytelling of like a Dark Souls type game where there's not really any reason for you to be doing what you're doing. You're just kind of like looking around at everything. And I think a lot more complexity can come to a small game if you just do it with thinking and writing.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the things that I really have been obsessing over in my notebooks lately. So that's my answer.
Does Ted answer these questions too?
He's welcome to.
Ted, you have an answer?
Yes.
What's your answer?
My game would be a pixel art food truck simulator game, but you also have to visit your farm where you grow your fresh ingredients.
Oh, so you're saying it's almost like there's like a before and after prep session of like going to your farm, tending it, making sure your vegetables are like good.
Yeah.
And then there's like the serving process of it. So it's almost like a roller coaster tycoon, but like you also go to the part where they build and create the pipes and the infrastructure for your tycoon.
It's lit. That would sell. That's that'd be a great iPhone.
Yeah. Almost like that one game where you like work a shop. I forget what it's called.
Moonlighter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kind of like
you would love
food truck.
You would love We Built a Zoo. Amanda's been playing that, and it's very much the same thing.
You would love weed.
Yeah. Dude, Ted, you would love weed.
You would love smoking ganja.
You should check that out, man.
Wait, you said we bought a zoo?
Yeah.
Yeah, We Bought a Zoo.
Amanda's all about
zoos. I'll be like, how are you? And she'll just write back, zoo.
I bought a zoo.
Okay. Yeah.
Is she doing okay? Have they adjusted her straitjacket?
Damn.
He's the one that made the gag first, motherfucker.
She loves the zoo.
Amanda loves animals and zoos, so I'm cool with it.
Zach says, do you regret playing any games on Beard Bros?
Ooh, I would regret probably. No, not now. I would say
there was something going on there.
In the beginning, I would say I regretted Simpsons Hit and Run. But in the end, I ended up loving that game because it was a difficult game to play because everyone's expectations were so much higher than Alex and I's, who had no experience playing the game.
I'm gonna say that.
Is Hit and Run the GTA-esque one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to end up playing that.
It's
once they port it to like modern consoles, people are going to lose their minds.
I hope they do it.
I think they are.
I mean, they probably will because Disney is all about
money.
There's a lot for a Simpsons fan to get out of that game.
Right.
But it's a terrible game.
Is it really?
It's just a PS2 ass fucking walk around.
It's not as polished and clean as people would like to think it is, but
it's a great idea.
It has such a large audience.
Yeah, I'm not looking for polish. I just want to like steal cars and go to the Quickie Mart.
And the writing is on point.
It's
writing and performances. It's a pretty decent game.
If there was no Simpsons in it, no one would ever play that game.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
My answer is Final Fantasy 15.
You regretted playing that?
Great time. Never finished the game myself because we beat it
on Beer Bros. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my fault.
It's not really your fault. I said yes. You know, I
beat that game quick too because it was a New Game Plus playthrough.
I wasn't really like against it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the playthrough. It's just that I would have probably
liked to have
just kept putting 120 more hours into that game, and I just bounced right off it after we beat it.
Yeah. What about you, Brett? Any game that you regret playing?
I don't think there's any games where I'm like, if I could go back, I wouldn't do it. So I guess the answer is no.
No, not really.
But I think there are definitely certain choices that we can make. Like we've had conversations like that before of like, oh, I think this would be better for the channel. I think this would be worse for the channel, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Look, man, any game that like demands our attention because the game is literally just talking at us.
Oh God.
I think doesn't help us.
Yeah.
Just based on what we do.
Yeah. Far underestimated how much of that there would be in the giant open world game Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's a good example.
Far underestimated how much time would be like 15 minutes walking around a table with no one in the room.
Just like, yeah. Like the fact of the matter is like when they the way I like to think of it is like the game is another person on the couch.
Yeah.
And you give and take. You just listen and you take your turn. Like I can't be speaking all the time on the mic.
Yeah.
No one should be speaking all the time on the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to give and take. And part of that give and take is, in my opinion, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it's a video game that's like talking a lot, like there has to do with what's the word I'm looking for? Economy of content. And like there are certain games, like if I put a fighting game on the channel, right? Which we'll never do. But if like, let's say we did it.
We did a couple episodes.
Yeah. Like little one and dones, but never like a series, right? But
Yeah.
my point is like, if we did that, whoever's on the couch, physically, literally, could be talking forever with each other.
Yeah.
And the game would never, quote unquote, demand us to stop.
We can
talking.
like fully respect the game and play it without
Right. But we
having
could still,
dead air. Yeah.
we could still, like the game is still, quote unquote, interacting with us.
Yeah.
But without demanding that we shut the fuck up.
Vibes.
Sure.
But there are certain games that like really like, if you really want to interact with it, you got to shut the fuck up a lot. And I don't think those are the best for us.
Yeah.
I agree. Big time.
Ted, what about you?
I don't know.
There's no. What about a series you don't like editing or watching?
The one you wish that we didn't do.
Editing or watching?
Like, God damn it, Jirard, or whoever, stop.
No, it's Jirard. Just let's be honest.
God damn it, Jirard, stop telling us to play this game. We're sick of watching it.
I don't know.
That's okay.
I'm walking on eggshells. Don't want to break the shell.
When Ted's thinking about it.
Because lately I've mostly edited just a side series.
Yeah.
So I haven't even like edited you guys.
We can come back to you. We can come back to you. If you think of something, let us know.
You find one bad thing to say about us. We'll come back.
No, I'm good. You don't have to come back at all. No.
Okay. All right. All right. You know what? Fuck it. Ted, replace him.
Replace me.
Replace Ted.
You want to take the next one?
That's great.
Yeah, sure. Wayne says, what are you most excited for or your conspiracy theories behind what's going to happen in the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2? Well, so I don't want to talk about this for too long because I don't know who you've played Remake.
I have not played it, but Kelly played it.
Okay.
I know
You've seen
I know
enough.
what the deal is. Yes.
Brett, you don't really care. It's not your cup of tea. Ted doesn't really care. It's not your cup of tea.
Nope.
I'm going to keep it short and brief, and it's definitely just because of the topic in mind. It's not long to talk about.
You don't want to spoil the twist.
Yeah, but I do want to. I think there is a twist in the room that for longtime fans of Final Fantasy VII and Crisis Core specifically are very excited about.
Does it extend to Crisis Core? Is there more of that in Crisis Core?
No. So in Crisis Core is a straight remake.
Okay.
But the reason why Crisis Core came out, aside from the fact that it's been in preservation hell for 15, 20 years, the reason why people are so excited about it is because at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, there's a tiny spoiler, there is an allusion to the fact that Zack Fair, who is the inspiration for Cloud and is the person that Cloud wants to be.
We can talk about the spoilers from Final Fantasy VII at this point. It's
right, from Remake, specifically.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Zack Fair is a part of Cloud and Sephiroth's story. And in the original Final Fantasy VII, he dies. He dies in a very sad but like dumb way.
Kind of epic.
It becomes epic because
it's
of
like
Crisis
Halo
Core.
Fall of Reach.
Crisis Core makes it this big like ballet of death in which he almost survives.
It feels like that one scene in Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of actually.
Yeah. In the end of Remake, as like the stories are being told, things are being wrapped up, there's a scene that shows what happens to Zack Fair and his death in the original Final Fantasy VII / Crisis Core. They take it from Crisis Core specifically. But the thing is that at the end of that scene, there's a moment where Zack gets up and goes, I guess I survived. And he killed everyone. Like usually the whole scene is that he's fighting hundreds and hundreds of these soldiers
he's gonna die.
And he gets brutally murdered. But in this one particular scene, it cuts back and he's like, guess I'm not dead. And they move on. And so the biggest conspiracy theory attached to 7 Remake Part 2 and further is Zack Fair is alive. If that's true, our entire remake, reunion, whatever the fuck these parts are coming, it's going to change the entire trajectory of how the game ends.
Yeah.
Hands down. Because it's going to be interloping brand new storylines that did not exist originally with an ending that could fuck everything up.
Yeah.
That means that anyone that we knew from the original game could die.
It's very
and people who did die could be saved.
It's very Dark Tower, if that means anything to you, how the remake is compared to the original, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this about this game. It's a hot take, real quick. Hot take for you guys.
Okay.
First of all, the other I'm throwing a lime around. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Marsh's lime.
I'm just throwing Marsh's lime around. I don't know what's up with that, but check it out. The big spoiler for me with Final Fantasy VII Remake is that the title of the game, Final Fantasy VII Remake, is not what you would assume that it is when you buy the game. You'd think you're purchasing a remake of Final Fantasy VII, but it's actually more like
a reimagining.
Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. The remake part is like the subtitle of this game.
Yes.
And
Final Fantasy VII, remake being like a theme to the game,
like Avengers,
not so much
Endgame, Avengers.
Right. It's not an accurate portrayal of this is a remake of Final Fantasy VII. It's
That's
very
the
different.
twist. And I'm going to tell you this. Here's my hot take.
Because they've already said the names of the next games. I think it's like it's
Rebuild or some
Rebirth
shit.
and Reunion, I think.
Some shit like that. And what's the other one called?
Crisis Core Reunion.
Yeah.
So I know Rebirth is the next one, I think.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think just like this time, they're going to make a beautiful game that's really expensive, that's excellent, with lots of crazy mechanics. I don't think it's going to be very recognizable compared to this game that we just played. I think it's going to be as different as Final Fantasy.
It'll be the same engine and the same combat.
I don't even know. I think it's going to be as different as Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 13. I think it's going to be a totally different game because they have to do I don't know how far they're going to go in the next one, but there's not like a tidy little linear story for the rest of the game. After this, there's like 4 things that happen and you're at the last disc.
Yeah.
And you just have side quests and all this other shit to do.
Sure.
I think no one is going to like the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's still going to be.
It's going to be the Last Jedi of.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 10 out of 10 game. And to give you perspective on this, I think that Final Fantasy 13 is one of the best Final Fantasies. Right? It's not about the plot. It's not about anything. They're going to make a neat video game, and everybody's going to be like weird, and they're not going to get into it. That's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I think it's going to sell a lot, and it's going to get like 6s and 7s.
Sure.
That's what I think.
I think we can move on because Ted and Brett are falling asleep over here.
What you want to read the next one?
This is from Kevin Van D, not Casper Van D.
No.
As the completion of New Game Plus is finally coming to a close, for those that were involved here, what is something that each of you have learned from working on this monumental task?
Whew.
I learned that no matter what, Jirard will always find a way to play his favorite games.
Yes, I'm just going to keep playing Mario 64 over and over and over again.
I remember, this is back when I had an office. I had a little office. It was wonderful. I had a little office. I was sitting at my desk. And I remember Patrick was in the room. And this was like when I think a couple of us were upstairs back in those days.
Yeah.
And Patrick was talking to me. And Jirard comes in. And this was in that time when, Jirard, you were having trouble with like the whole Greg thing and the getting sued about, the old content, the whole reason for New Game Plus.
Yeah.
But I remember, more importantly, around that time, I remember we were having like frequent discussions about how are we going to get Jirard to do less work? This dude is so burnt out. I remember we were like thinking about like, we got to do like, we're going to have like the completionists come out less or try this and blah, blah, blah. Like, and we were like looking forward to the future. Like, yeah, man, we're going to make the quality of the show better and Jirard's going to chill. I remember you came and you stood in that doorway and you dropped the fucking idea of New Game Plus on us. And I remember being like, well,
see ya.
There it is. He's never going to stop when it comes to like some way. This motherfucker's talking about, you already talked about it. The complete, what is it? Beard Bros collection. And I just heard that like, this nigga's just trying to play Mega Man X again. That's all he wants to do. Just let him play Mega Man X.
Hey guys, I'm a Mega Man X influencer.
So yeah, there you go.
It is kind of like a giant Jenny Craig pick. If you think about it, the New Game Plus, like we have these old episodes that we made, and like I know some people really like those old episodes, probably because mostly out of like at this point, like how long ago was that? 10 years, 12 years ago that you were making these videos?
Wow. From 2011 until 2015.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Over 10, like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're making these videos, and we've now made. We're done.
Yeah, we've got 5 episodes left to air, but I've been done with the games
are done,
for about 9 months now.
Like,
wow.
I'm pretty sure that there's some illegal streaming archive of those old episodes somewhere.
I mean, if they are, I've tried to take them down, but
I'm sure there's some place that people watch them. Go watch those old episodes and compare them to the new episodes, and you can just see like what like a business that's like experienced in production does, and what like essentially teens do in their bedrooms, and like you can see like a lot of growth. I didn't really work that much on New Game Plus, but
or even the original episodes for that matter.
Yeah,
I've like every now and then.
Yeah, I've written my share of completions episodes, but not I never would say that I was like a regular Steph writer on the show.
Sure,
I'll say this: sometimes things can happen in your life that are not what you want to happen, and they can be infuriating. And sometimes you can find ways to like let that be your fuel in a way that lets you make something good. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like fucking, you've seen this a million times in a movie, right? Like some kid, hot rod, his dad's like, you're never going to beat my ass. And then the whole movie is about him learning how to beat his dad's ass and earning his dad's respect. That's New Game Plus. It's like don't tell me what I can't do, like Locke from Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think it is.
Well,
What'd you learn?
I have a couple of regrets about New Game Plus, and it's ironically not about the show completing the games, recompleting the games, or
doubling the entire
or doubling the entire workload of the company. Those things I don't regret. What I do regret is I regret. How do I phrase this? I regret what I did to the team with regards to the overall asking of what was going on, because I didn't really ask for permission. I just said I'm doing this. What fueled New Game Plus's inception was I was at a convention called Indie PopCon that I always go to every year, and I was hanging out with the Normal Boots guys. We're having a great time, great weekend. And I was having a panel with Satchel and myself. We were on stage and talking about the completionists and how Satchel and I met and content creation. And the Normal Boots guys didn't know this. No one knew this, but I had just received a legal notice from Greg from him a couple days prior about him wanting to come after us and all that stuff. And someone asked a question. And the question was like, what happened between you and Greg, and can you talk about it? And notoriously, I was very tight-lipped. I didn't tell anyone about what was going on with Greg, mostly because I thought it was done. Like we had a very gross behind-the-scenes split. It ruined both of our social media relationships pretty significantly. We were done, and the fact that like 3 years had gone by and this was drudging back up. I just cried on stage in front of a room full of 3,000 people. I just cried because I didn't know what else to do. And I just told everyone the truth in the room. And when I was done, you just heard the whole room crying, and you could see everyone's eyes are watering. And I think they finally heard me say like, I'm in pain and this is what's caused me. And that was so infectious that someone in the room just said, you should just remake those videos. And the whole room exploded with applause. And afterwards, the Normal Boots guys came over and they all gave me a big hug, and they were like, hey, you should do that. You should like try your best to stand your ground. You have a whole team. You guys worked so hard to move on. And here you are getting drugged back into this. You should, do it. And so I came back full of positive reinforcements from a room full of strangers and with my friends. And I came to you guys and I was like, we're going to do this. And everyone didn't say it, but they felt it. And they were like, we shouldn't do this. This was a bad idea for our workflow. But at the end of the day, I don't regret that because all of the videos that we remade got quadruple the amount of views than they originally did, which means more people saw our new version of what the show was than the original episodes, aside from a couple of 1 or 2 issues of like, well, no one's going to watch this episode on Breaking Bad, but that's like, that's a YouTube changing problem and not so much a like audience problem.
That was never going to be like,
it was a joke,
an SEO hit.
Right.
So you're saying there's some motherfucker out there who wants to catch these hands is what you're saying.
What, to fight me?
The guy who said, just redo it. Who's that guy?
I don't. I should have took his name down and said thank you.
Smack the shit out of that guy.
Thanks a lot, dude.
Yeah. All right. Last one in the game YouTube realm.
Yeah,
comes from Shabazz, who says, as someone who doesn't like to post comments on videos, which by the way, thank God for you. What are some efficient ways to support you guys?
I can throw it out there if people want to. If the technical stuff.
Thank you, boss. Your check is in the mail.
Yeah. The biggest thing is watch every YouTuber or Beard Bros video or complete video you watch the whole thing and then watch at least 2 or 3 more.
Watch afterwards. A playlist with a bunch of videos on it that are ours.
Yeah. Every time that you watch
leave your house,
every time that you watch a video, you're telling the YouTube algorithm that you like this channel and your ad revenue that you'd want to spend, whether it's YouTube Premium or you just watching it, you support these creators. So that's why you'd want to watch it. So watch everything, I would say, from start to finish, because YouTube knows when you leave a video. They know you left at this time code and then it makes the creator look at why and the averages of who left at what time. So when a brand deal comes up, that's when most people leave a video. In our case, in the Beard Bros case, it's like no one leaves the video, but a lot of people skip the Patreon ad because they know it's coming and they just want to get to the Beard Bros episode, which negatively impacts the YouTube channel, but it doesn't matter because our YouTube channel is based on Patreon. So
our Beard Bros group is like, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
Like we're not a great example of a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
In the modern
the Beard Bros channel should have died about 7 years ago, but you guys kept us alive and continue to keep it alive. So
shout out Game Wisp. Shout out Patreon.
Game Wisp.
That's the best way to support without spending $1. That's just how do you support from that perspective.
If you support us directly like that, I don't care if you fucking put on ad block. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, seriously. The other way obviously is merchandise. And Patreon. Those are the 2 best ways to support us.
Yeah. Or you know what? Show the videos to your friends.
Get someone else addicted to us.
Do the old school stuff. Street team vibes.
Yeah. Go to your Game Grumps friends who watch Game Grumps and say, hey, if you want to watch stuff like the Game Grumps, watch the Beard Bros. Yeah. That helps.
Yeah. But commenting is like ratioing. Kind of like,
well, it used to be commenting was your litmus test if the content was good.
Yeah.
You'd be able to scan through and go, oh, these people like this stuff.
Nowadays, though, if a video has a lot of comments on it, it means that somebody said something
controversial,
like hot politically incendiary in the video somewhere. It's like stupid. Like the comment section is like dumb now. We should just get rid of it.
Well, it's funny because they're saying that with YouTube Shorts coming out now, like with monetization partnerships, they're saying that
all of our jobs are going to go away.
Oh yeah, we're going to get fucked.
This might be the last year of this.
Yeah, we're trying. We're holding on our best we can. But they're saying, yeah, sorry, Ted. You know what? You know when we say replace you, it's going to be real soon.
We're going to replace you with a robot that has a camera for a face.
We're going to replace you with Chat GPT to edit all of our videos for us. And eventually just listen to hours of us and just replace us. No, what I was going to say is that YouTube Shorts, their whole thing now is you can't tell people who watch YouTube Shorts to like and comment because that's against.
They literally can't. Yeah.
Well, they can, and it's against YouTube's TOS to do that on YouTube Shorts because YouTube Shorts' engagement algorithm is actually based on likes and comments, unlike YouTube proper. So if you are watching our YouTube Shorts, please like and comment because that's actually true engagement.
It's not true engagement. It's engagement that's true in regard to the SEO algorithm of YouTube.
Correct.
None of this is real.
None of it's real. We're all robots.
Google has tricked us all into playing a fucking shitty ass MMO, and we all have to do it now. And helping us get a high score is the way to win. And honestly, the actual answer is do your research, because that shit changes more than anybody can track.
Yeah. Terms of service just got updated this year, and it's gross.
People are always talking to me after work about like, I just got off the phone with our YouTube guy, and here's another dumbass thing that nobody knew about until today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just appreciate that you feel the desire to support us.
Yeah.
And that's really all you need to do.
Yeah. The thought's a lot.
Okay. Next part of question time. No more YouTube.
No more gaming.
No more video games. We're all over. It's just YouTube
the
Shorts
one episode
now.
that I'm here is the last episode.
5 questions about YouTube Shorts. Here we go. No. This one's from Beach Bum. You want to take this one?
Beej Bum, BEEJ. All right. Asks, what are you having / did you have for lunch today? Oh man, today was a weird one.
Yeah, totally.
Tried to order a little dim sum. Half of what I wanted, I got. The other half was something I did not see coming. It was literally like a glaze. You know the jelly-filled donuts?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It's like a glazed jelly-filled donut outside, but it was like very much less sweet. Still very much sweet.
Still
like there was
sweet.
There was still sugar on my fingers at the end of that.
Yeah.
It was very much like a savory meat.
But here's the thing. On the inside, it was not like red jelly, but instead it was bright red. It was like chashu pork, Chinese chashu pork, but it was like minced on the inside. And like, I get it. Like I've had that kind of dim sum before. I just didn't mean to order it.
It was fried it was fried in oil.
It was baked.
That was baked?
That's what it said. That's what
baked.
I ordered.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, it seemed it certainly wasn't the steamed buns that you are probably thinking of when you think of
exactly.
dim sum. Maybe we're just like a bunch of Fereshtis over here that don't know shit about fuck when it comes to dim sum. I'm fully willing to say that that's possible. I've never had anything that's like that.
I enjoyed it. I just didn't think I'd be having that today.
Yeah. What was the other dumpling you got? What's your other?
Shumai.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's
simple stuff.
Good stuff. What about you?
I had a gigantic black iced tea from Starbucks. That's my morning routine. I get a unsweetened Trenta black iced tea from Starbucks with one sweetener, pump, and no lemonade.
I used to do the Tejava bottles at Trader Joe's. That was my big thing.
Yeah.
What are you gonna have for lunch?
Don't know. Brett let me have one of those things. Thank you, Brett. So I'm feel pretty good.
Yeah,
I feel pretty full.
I had one of Brett's weird meat donuts as well. I enjoyed myself.
Ted had 2.
Yeah,
I had 2.
I enjoyed myself immensely.
They were delicious.
Yeah. I was confused the whole time. I'm probably going to go get some sort of lettuce or something at the store because I have a bunch of bullshit that I need to put in a salad.
I'm gonna get some sort of lettuce.
Yeah, Kelly made some lemon bars.
Oh, they're delicious.
And I always love when she makes lemon bars. I'm probably going to eat like 4 of them with my lunch. Mm-hmm. And I need something to put the rest of my chopped up bacon and cheese. I just have a bunch of crap in my fridge I need to put in a salad. That's what I'm going to do. What about you, Ted?
I'll have my classic meat on zoodles.
Meat on zoodles? That's so you.
With sauce.
He has it almost every week.
Every day.
Zucchini pasta.
It's like noodles made of pasta.
Yeah, okay. I got
you. It's zucchini made of noodles.
Made of pasta.
Got it.
Stupid.
It's okay.
There you go, Beach Bomb.
Thank you, Beach.
Next one comes from Mary, who says, do you have any hobbies you enjoy that aren't necessarily video game related?
I'll go first. Quick and easy. I love movies.
Yep.
I love TV.
Yep.
I love wrestling.
Yeah, he does.
Those are my 3 big things.
He does love wrestling. What about you?
Yeah, tons.
Yeah.
Love to read.
Yeah, that's real. I do read.
You guys are true. When people are like, I know a bunch of comic book nerds. I go, yeah, that's fine. But Brett and Alex like legitimately care and read about comics all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm not just talking about comics either. I just love to read.
I was going to say, yeah, comics is something I think of as a hobby.
I don't anymore though, because it's become such an integral part of our lifestyle.
Sure. But even then, like even today, the average age of a comic book reader is like
49 years old.
No, it's 57.
Oh
Are you
my
serious?
gosh.
I'm not joking.
Bullshit. Like that, you're not like hyperbolizing for comedy?
It keeps going up.
Where did you read 57?
It might have been 55. Can't remember, but it was like the latest stat
from
like CBI or whatever, CBR or whatever.
Comic reporter?
55. Dude.
Yeah, like real talk.
Is that
like,
real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody, I mean, I've gone in there. I've gone in there. I've seen the kids. They don't buy anything but the Fortnite comics. They leave.
Okay, wait.
There's Fortnite comics?
Batman, Fortnite.
They've gotta be, yeah. Okay. Comic books have now become what? Like
newspaper?
Like
listening
a radio,
to the radio?
Yeah, like a radio.
Listening to the radio?
But like listening to the radio fiction.
Like, like listen to the Lone Ranger.
Mystery Theater.
Little Orphan Annie.
Yeah, exactly.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Which is kind of what
on a gas tire.
Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell.
They've kind of always been that in a way.
Of course.
Like, especially DC, which has actually been around that long.
But I was there for when like it seemed like everybody was picking up a book.
Oh, yeah.
Just like it was the same period really when everybody was watching wrestling too. But you know, that kind of stuff ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see comic books coming back like that, man. It's kind of ironic considering
It's like
how popular the stuff is in cinema.
The fact that it's like the biggest thing
in the form that
television
they're in.
and
In
film.
the form that they're in, right?
That's crazy. Like when you hit me with 55, I'm like, oh shit.
That's fucked up, right?
Yeah, it is.
New York Times says 20 years old.
That's
shit.
Let's be clear.
Utter bullshit.
That must include a lot more
manga,
broad
manga,
definition.
Manga, and or I have an iPad that has digital comics on it.
I'm talking about go to the
Comics.
LCS. You have a pull box in your monthlies. You get your rags. You
go
take
to
them
the
home.
store.
You meticulously bag and board each one in your car before you drive home.
That's a little extreme
That's me,
even
though.
right there.
I mean,
I understand that's you, but that's not the average comic reader. I'm talking about someone that reads Western comics.
Yeah.
Whether it's digital or not.
That's real. That's real.
Holy shit, man.
There was a moment, when it was like, they were still like a fad. Like back in the days of like the original Whedon Avengers time where like everybody who was 20 was like, yeah, I read comics.
I think that's just your bubble, brother.
I mean, 100% it was.
Okay.
But like there was a moment when there was almost like a shift where people were going to read them again. And then that passed because they were then the movie version kind of oversaturated. And then people aren't even thinking about the comics anymore. You used to think about the comics all the time. You'd be like, oh, what storyline is this? What are they doing this time? And they're still doing that stuff. But like the connection to the comics is broken.
Yeah.
Nobody has to worry about comic books anymore.
Man.
But
55.
Comics, I'd say, is a hobby of mine. Music, I would say, is a hobby of mine. I buy a lot of vinyl, listen to a lot of vinyl, go to a lot of shows. I'm surprised. Cooking is another one that's like a hobby, technically. Same thing with reading. I'm kind of surprised that reading and cooking have become hobbies. It reminds me of like how exercise started being a thing in like the 50s. Like where they were like, there's things in our lives
Used to be a necessity.
Yeah.
Now they've become an elective.
Exactly. Like you used to have to read if you wanted to watch TV, quote unquote, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like you just watch TV. You don't have to ever open a book in your life. And it's like quirky to read.
That's kind of scary to me to think about. How many people
can read
out there? Yeah. What happened? That used to be the litmus for who was
learning how to read is becoming
privileged or not. But now everybody can read and it sucks.
Yeah.
No.
Burn everything that has letters on it.
That's a good idea. No, what's creepy to me is the idea that like there's probably a ton of people out there who like either A, got out of school and then never read again, like never picked up a book or anything like that.
80 to 90%.
Or, kind of similar outside, like currently still in school, but outside of that, like whenever they're not in school, they're just not reading. And I'm not talking about scrolling through fucking Reddit either. I mean, like, picking up a book.
Even a digital book, like just reading.
Sure.
Yeah. Just reading a long story.
Just like, I think this is me for the first time realizing that a bunch of those people exist.
There are people out there who do that, but most of them do not
do
anymore.
Do the knife.
They've all stopped shitting.
Oh, do the knife.
You been watching the show?
I have the shirt.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're welcome. That's Lisa. That's her.
Do the knife. Hilarious. What was that? Hotline Miami?
Probably.
God damn.
Do the knife, man.
15 years ago. Remember?
Ugh, I'm bones now.
Your bones. Yeah. Those are the hobbies. Those are the hobbies. My hobbies that aren't video game related are playing old video games. Awful Possum says, this one is for you.
Me, Jirard. Okay.
Yes. To read.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were like, they asked you this question.
No, third one down.
Aside from cats and dogs, what animals have you always wanted to have as a pet? I've always wanted a ferret or like a monkey.
That was I know that was true because that came right out.
That was exactly. It was so genuine.
Yeah, that came
With a
right
ferret,
out.
I can understand kind of, and then with the same breath, as if it's as normal as a ferret, it's like or a monkey.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the reason why they feel the same vibe is because both animals, like a small monkey or a ferret on your shoulder, is like a little cool companion.
You thinking about like
Yeah, but so's a parakeet.
You
Like,
thinking about one of those monkeys that can like smoke, like one of those little hangover monkeys?
I would teach you to not smoke, but to like eat something cool.
But you're thinking about like a hangover monkey or like Bubbles? Like a hangover monkey or the Bubbles the chimp? Like what are we thinking about when we say monkey?
Hangover monkey.
Okay, like a
yeah,
little,
like a capuchin. A
Yeah.
capuchin is a pet.
like Night at the Museum.
A chimp is like a life partner.
No,
Like,
I'm not. I'm
it's
not
like
trying
a
to get
baby that could kill you.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get a little guy who wants to hang on my shoulder, who enjoys my company, hopefully.
a Columbus monkey.
So like wants to like. I'm like, hey, you want to go see a movie? And he's like,
Well, I don't know what a movie is, but I'll go.
What do you say? Make him eat cool shit.
yeah, make him.
Like what?
Like if I give him a slice of pizza.
He folds it. He
Let
does
me
a
ask
little
you,
New York.
Brett, let me ask you,
He
if
does
you
a little
saw a
New York
tiny
lean.
monkey on my shoulder eat a slice of pepperoni pizza.
I would immediately call the authorities. You don't know. You don't know.
I mean, look, if it's going to kill him, obviously I'm not going to make him eat it, but like,
he's not supposed to have that.
no, but
You're not supposed to have that. Like walking to your home and there's a fucking monkey, dude. Like, come on,
I'll be like,
man.
yo.
Oh.
Come here.
no, the idea is that I wouldn't want to have a monkey that like is crazy, and hopefully I'd be able to train the monkey to want to hang out with me and be chill.
I get it.
Train him to want to hang out. You know what I'm saying? He said,
vibes.
I want to give him.
Vibes.
I want to teach him to eat cool shit. Like what? This Nixon.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with pizza?
I love.
Would you guys miss me? Guys, I killed Brett. Brett is red in the face. I sent him to the moon. I think I may give him a heart attack. Sounds like he's dying. Sounds like Brett broke a bone and is crying for dear help.
He said. 100% genuine. It's not a gag. He said a ferret or he said a monkey. He said a ferret or a monkey. Why is it so wrong?
It's just funny that it was so close to the surface.
Oh,
I don't understand.
You didn't even have to think about it.
Like
You were ready for it.
imagine if at the drop of a hat I was like an eagle or a bison. It's just
But
funny.
you know what I would look? It's not going to be a cat. It's not going to be a dog. I imagine like you would have said like a turtle and a fish. It's like a very common thing. Like tarantulas aren't common, even though I hate them.
Some people have monkeys. I don't think it's that weird.
Oh, thank you for that.
It was just,
Thank you. It kept getting
it
better.
was just an incredible line read.
It kept getting better.
It was an incredible
Kept
line
getting
read.
better. Thank you. Holy shit.
You guys want to answer the question now?
A bird that's like not a parrot, I don't think, but like a talking bird.
Man, oh man.
I think maybe like a cockatiel. Fuck it, a parrot's fine. A
Parrots are
cockatiel,
cool.
Yeah, any kind of smart bird that lives a long time would be cool. And also, I love like frogs and turtles. But I want to make, if I did that, I would be about like the what do you call that? Terrarium. It'd be about be about making that thing and putting it in there.
I think I would choose like a big
Birdful.
turtle or a big snake.
Yeah, vibes.
Oh, I'm out on the snake.
Yeah,
Turtle, I could do. Snake.
That's just so fucking cool.
What did you say? A big snake,
Like a boa.
like a boa, like a 5 foot long boa
Yeah.
constrictor.
Like you got to feed it mice.
Like don't leave
I'm
it in
out.
a room with your
I'm
babies.
out.
Kind of
Yeah.
snake. Yeah.
I'm out.
and then like, you know, I
It'd
get
be
cool with
badass.
it where like, you know, when people are over, I'll just have them
Yeah.
out and just
You want to be Cassandra from Wayne's World.
I think the snake is dead.
Didn't somebody do the snake? Didn't Brittany have like a snake that she like came down the stairs? Yeah, like a big ass on live though. It was like a like albino snake.
I want to say it was probably in like a performance of I'm a slave for you.
Probably a slave for you.
I'm a slave for you.
Yeah, I would choose like a snake or a big turtle.
Snakes actually are really cool. Kelly used to have a snake back in the day.
Really?
That she would like put in her little hoodie pouch. It's like a little garter snake, I guess they're called.
In her what?
In her like little pouch for her hoodie.
This thing right here, like
it knew to go in there, and
the front pouch of a hoodie, like where your stomach is.
It was comfortable being like, oh, we're going on an adventure.
Yeah, it would know to go in there, and that it would be good and warm in there.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
My buddy Tony used to have a snake too, and I went to go visit it after like he'd been away from home for like 6 years, and it was like still alive.
He's like, hey,
I don't know that anybody was even really feeding it that often. I don't know. Lizards are fucking nuts.
I saw a video of a seagull the other day swallowing a rabbit whole.
Oh,
what? Oh, I saw the same one.
Incredible.
Wow.
Incredible.
I was like, how are you going to fly now?
Yes.
It's a horrendous fate.
Yes.
Dude, all those bones too. It's scary.
Dude, the seagull after was looking around like, what now?
Am I good?
Yeah. Like you don't fly anymore, dude.
Yeah. That's nuts. Like, that's like a bird that's like a carnivorous plant.
Sure.
It's like a fly trap that flies.
That's scary.
Fuck me up.
This motherfucker said, give it pizza.
Oh, man.
Incredible.
This one's for you.
You would give it pizza you'd give it a pizza if you could.
He's not wrong. I have that urge all the time. People that like have pets, I'm like, I just want to give it this boneless wing.
I want to do it every time. Yeah.
Just because I know it'd make it happy.
Yeah.
So Boofy and Yayo, when they were not feeling well, because they had some teeth removed because, dogs get old.
Yes, they do.
I bought them both their own double from In-N-Out, and because I wanted them to be able, because they were sad, they weren't eating, and I was trying to get them in the zone.
But not just the meat. You gave them like the bread and the lettuce.
No, it was just the bread and the meat
and
cheese.
Unsalted meat. They'll do.
Yeah. So I bought them both their own little In-N-Out, and we thought we were being so funny and cute with them. We put them on the floor, and the two of them smelled it and then just sat back down. And I was like, every time I have In-N-Out, you're trying to eat my shit. And now I get you your own In-N-Out and you don't want it.
They wanted that tomato.
They're in it for the hunt.
They're in it for the hunt. They see you. If I started eating the burger, they'd be like, I want that burger.
Exactly.
Now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Next question.
This is from Martin, who says, since it's awards season, what is your favorite film you saw last year? Oh, it could be a new movie or something older that you watched for the first time and it blew you away. What the fuck did I watch this last year?
Short list for me, just throwing it out there off the top of my head. Glass Onion was up there. Tenet was up there. The Batman was up there. I didn't really watch that many movies the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I watched way more movies in 2021 than I did in 2022, mostly because I was depressed working at G4, but
yeah. Like Black Adam sucked. Like Wakanda Forever was pretty good. I enjoyed that. What did I watch that was like artsy? Oh, Nightmare Alley was really fucking good. That movie blew me away, actually. I'll say that.
I think it was a better year for TV than movies last year. I feel like TV shows were really spectacular.
That's true. That's absolutely real.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I did finally watch Last Night in Soho, and I thought that was very good.
Oh, that was awesome.
I wouldn't say that I wasn't blown away by it, but like I did enjoy it.
I forgot that movie existed. I need to watch it.
So did I.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm watching it.
It's great.
Damn.
It wasn't last year, but I remember watching Lady Bird. That shit was ill.
Yeah. Pig was really good.
Was Pig last year?
I don't know.
No, it's
it might have been 2021.
I really enjoyed Pig, and I really enjoyed Old.
I didn't see that looked insane.
The new M. Night movie.
Yeah,
it definitely takes you for a roller coaster you weren't expecting.
It looks like the absolutely wildest Twilight Zone episode or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wish I had better answers.
I'm not one of those people. Like a lot of people here at the office are those types of people who like.
Yeah, the completionist writing team. They all have like that movie app.
I even have the movie app. I probably have more movies logged than any of them over the years.
I don't know. Pat probably watches 4 movies a day.
Yeah, Pat's wild.
He's in a whole other echelon.
Pat's wild.
I just don't keep track of them, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but it gets to a point like same thing happens when I'm reading like comics sometimes, and maybe you can get with me on this. I don't know, because you're the only person I know who reads like linear comics.
I'm
as
55 years old, man.
Yeah, that linear drive where you read like, okay, I'm going to read like everything that happened to like all the characters in the Avengers from like 2010 to 2020 or something like that.
Yeah, look, man, I only did that one time.
Well, but I've done things like that a lot of times. Like right now I'm reading all the crises, for example, and it's like I'm reading a lot of these tie-in issues and stuff, and I'm like, am I remembering every issue?
No.
Like, no. I'm definitely like getting something out of it and absorbing the story. And like, now that I've read it, I could tell you like a lot more about it. But I'd be worried if I watched that many movies that I would start to like lose all sense of meaning. I don't know. It's like, kind of wild. But yeah, those are my movie picks. I hope that's enough for you guys. What else did I watch? The Duelists from 1971. I went back and got really into Prometheus and Alien Covenant again. I watched the movie The Ninth Gate again. That movie's really good. I don't know.
We're doing a cultural exchange. One of Lisa's good friends. It's one of those girls who was like, I can't do horror.
Yeah.
And I was like, let me hook you up. Like, let me show you some good shit. And she's like, all right, but if we do, you have to watch the entire Twilight series.
Whoa.
And I was like, all right, bet. Let's do it.
You had to watch the entire Twilight series.
It's an exchange. I think it's 5 for 5.
Okay.
Because I got into it. I thought it was 4 movies, like 4 books, 4 movies. So
yeah.
like, 5 movies. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I've watched, as of Sunday, I watched 3 Twilight movies.
Wow.
I actually love the first Twilight.
It's really shitty.
Yeah. What did you give her?
Really awful. What did I give her so far?
Yeah.
So far, I gave her 1990s Tom Savini, Night of the Living Dead, and I also gave her The Thing.
Hell yeah.
God damn. She's eating, and
I'm telling you, like, I'm going to take care of you.
You're like Edward Cullen having to eat vegetables instead of.
I understand that reference, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know what? The first Twilight movie is like, I was like, and then like the next one, I was like, I don't need to see another one of these.
You know, a movie that was really good that I just saw recently that I forgot that I saw was The Menu.
Oh yeah,
The Menu was
another
really
one I really
good.
want to see.
Yeah, Alex, The Menu's for you. It's made just for you.
That's another one I.
It's very like glass oniony.
Oh really?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
not what I expected. I don't know really anything about it other than that Ray Fiennes is like a chef.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's made for you.
All right, great. Next question is from Pooperton the Pious, who says, what is the one thing you really love about each other beard bro?
Oh boy. Bless you. Is that what that was?
That was like a little bit of a cough and a little bit of a sneeze, I guess. It's what I do right before I'm about to tell a lie. Brett, I love your unwavering sense of like yourself. You're very present.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Like you're always very present. I really love that about you. And I love that you are like a very good, like, when we have something that we're trying to do and we got to go do it, you're like a good, like partner to have in that type of situation. Like I like going on like business trips with you. You know what I mean? Like we can have fun doing things. That's what I like.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
You got to hit Ted up too.
Ted, you're not really a beard bro.
You got to hit him up though.
That's the end of it. I love that you're not a beard bro.
That's what I love about you.
Yeah.
No, Ted's good. Ted's good. I got a beard. Ted's my pal. Ted's my like. I don't know. I probably would have died without Ted.
Yeah, I feel like we attacked the channel together.
Yeah.
Keep
it running.
The channel.
He's like what's his name from Doctor Strange? That guy who's getting like way more FaceTime than Doctor Strange nowadays. That British
Asian dude.
Yeah, that guy. What's it?
Wong?
Yeah, Wong.
I'll take
Ted
that.
is Wong.
He's still just called Wong in the.
I think
movies?
so. Yeah,
That's his name, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's who he is. He's Wong.
Brett, I love your honesty. Your honesty
That's a lie.
is no. I love it. It's very refreshing. You tend to, if you think something is bullshit, If you think something is bullshit, you'll do the kind thing of not sharing your opinion. But if someone asks, you open the dam and you're like, this is bullshit. I hate this, or I don't like this. And you do it in a way where it doesn't make the person who asked feel bad.
Ooh, I certainly hope not.
No, you're honest in a way where your honesty doesn't feel like you're trying to hurt someone with your honesty. Because honesty is people always have this thing with being honest of like, if I'm honest with you, brutal honesty, right? I'll say something from the heart that I think and believe, and it hurts the other person's, hearing that brutal honesty. But for you, you've found a way to deliver your honesty and your truth without making anyone feel bad or attacked for your opinion.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Alex, you are... you kind of said the same thing I was going to say about you to me, where you are a great person to jump into the ice water with. If there is something that's like, fuck, man, I need to do this. Who's the one person I know who will say yes and without reservation, knowing that there's consequences or bullshit on the other side? You're great about just being like, let's fucking go. Which is great because sometimes there is no plan. It's just like, we're going to go fucking do this. And
that's my favorite way to go.
Yeah.
That's my favorite way to play, baby.
Ted, you are a good soldier.
Fuck me.
Yes, sir.
No, Ted, you always are willing to go above and beyond what's asked of you. And if it does make you feel uncomfortable, it does take you out of that zone. You have no problem being like, hey, just pointing this out. I do not like doing this, or this is something that I'm not a fan of. Most people in an organization or in a company would be like, yes, sir, I will do this. And the person walks out of the room and they go, I fucking hate this. This sucks. I don't want to do this. But you have a limit that you're comfortable being like, hey, just so you're aware, I don't like
I will do this.
I will do this, but I'm not.
I do not like it.
Yeah. Or even just like, hey, I'm letting you know this makes me want to, I'm not happy to do this, so whether we can make good on it or like make it easier next time, that would be great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. So those are the questions that aren't about YouTube or video.
Rocking to let Brett or Ted
This
go?
motherfucker. Huh? I'm
Ted
not
and
saying
Brett have
nothing
to
nice
go.
about you now.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Brett, go.
I was going to say that I appreciate how quick Alex was, but now I don't fucking know. Motherfucker just completely forgot about
Alex
me.
never
forgets anything.
He never forgets about me.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that I appreciate the quickness with which he puts things. For a man who smokes as much weed as he does, I don't know how he puts together things in his head as quickly as he does. He's very quick. He's very sharp. I don't know how you do it. But then again, he did just forget about me on the couch. So
I smoke a lot of weed, man. Hey.
I don't know how he does it. Jirard, I appreciate Jirard, the light in Jirard's eyes when he is doing something that he's excited about. Genuine appreciation for certain things. What's what I'm looking for? Not zeal, but enthusiasm. That's the word. I appreciate the genuine enthusiasm. And Ted, I appreciate the candor. You ask Ted something about himself, he'll be honest. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I like the candor.
Vibes.
If I ask Ted, like, hey man, like, how circumcised are you? He'll be like, not very. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me get a ruler. I can get a ruler. Let me ask Fraser if you have a ruler.
Right.
He's like, I'll report back.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Ted,
Vibes.
your turn.
Jirard, as I've said many times before, you always feel like you never made me feel like you're my superior, really. Like you feel like equal or lesser. And I think sometimes I catch myself the way you like present yourself, you're like, I don't know, if whatever you want, Ted. And I'm just like, what? Wait a minute. Who's coming to But
you know what? Replace me.
I think sometimes I catch myself. I'm like, shit, I think I take that for granted sometimes. And apologies if I do.
No, not at all.
Alex, I don't know. Right. I got nothing.
It's okay.
Incredible.
No, one thing that came to mind is that I'll just mention about my day or my life and you'll be like, try this.
Oh yeah. Vibes.
Yeah. and you give me like one solid thing to try to maybe improve my situation or my life in general. And I really appreciate that. Brett, I also really like your candor, and to be completely honest,
here it comes. It's my tits.
I've tried to like adapt your persona into my life.
Why are you biting my steez?
Like genuinely, I would wear a "What would Brett do" bracelet.
The answer is eat a burger.
I'm trying. Like in every situation where I'm talking to someone and I'm like, "No, you're wrong. You're freaking. I don't like you. You're dumb." And I'm like, "What would Brett do? What would Brett do?"
Purchase 6 meat donuts.
True. Eat 2 of them.
Give the rest to my enemies.
Right.
No, I think I've more come to the like, I don't have to vomit my opinion in every situation. I can just like ask people, what do you think? Oh, that's interesting. And then just like try to go deeper into them and not necessarily give my input. And yeah, ask questions, ask for what I want. Like, I really value the way you approach just human interaction, Brett.
Yeah, you're really good at making people feel included even when they're not included. You know, especially if it's a new person in the room. Like if a random person came in the room and sat down on the couch right now, you'd be like, "Hi, I'm Brett. This is us." And then we'd talk about Street Fighter, and you'd be like, "What do you think about Street Fighter?"
And then he'd be like, "What? I don't know what to say." Like, "Yeah, you don't know about Street Fighter. You don't know about Street Fighter."
Pours his coffee on him.
Right.
Kick him down the stairs.
Okay. I feel like we can just let that love land a little bit. Up next, I didn't want Ted to get left out of the conversation. So I asked everybody questions just for Ted.
Just for Ted.
Yeah, I asked. And I thought this would be fun because I feel like part of being a beard bro is like kind of like interacting with Ted about his opinions.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we do a lot on the show, and I feel like Jirard's been gone for a while. So it's just a chance for you to say some stuff and have us react to it. You know what I mean?
We just did a Patreon giveaway, the Completionist Patreon.
Yeah.
And everyone in the chat was like, "Can I have Ted?"
Was he dressed like an elf?
He was.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted Ted the entire time.
Wear the shirts and sweat in them?
Yeah,
first?
everyone's like, "Hey, the shirt that you're giving me, can Ted please wear it?" I'm like, why?
A little too far. Yep.
Yuck.
Okay, well, it's not that gross.
I would rather.
Guys.
I would rather Ted wear 2 shirts than just one.
Yeah. More shirts.
Yeah. Get him so uncomfortable.
All right, Ted, if you could have a restaurant special named after you, what would your dish be?
That's from Joe Zapp.
It's a good one.
Mint ice cream with peanut butter cups.
Oh! What's it called? Give it a name.
The Ted?
Mint. Ted's mint cups.
Ted's mint cups.
Ted's mint cups.
I think I would call it the mushy date.
Ew.
Ted's mint cups.
The mushy date.
I would fuck with that. I would fuck with that.
Peanut butter cups and mint.
I would fuck with that.
It's like stoner vibes. It's like the munchie meal vibes, but I'm in.
I'd fuck with that.
Yeah.
The other day,
I call it the mushy
got some
date.
Girl Scout cookies. I got the
Date
Thin
option
Mints
select.
and the tagalongs.
Ooh.
Absolutely.
Is it time?
I guess so. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's always time.
I don't know, man. I don't know when those cookies come around. They used to come around at a time. I don't know. I would love some of those. Usually they sell them at the comic shop. I got to go check that out.
All right. Next question. Bearded Matse. Honest opinion on the Twiglets and baby octopi. Still not convinced you like them. Did I miss something here? What is this?
So at the beginning of every episode of our 30 Days Early series, we do a little promo that explains that the show is available 30 days earlier.
And Ted's eating some gross food.
Ted eats like a gross, not necessarily gross, just stuff from around the world.
I mean, look, I shot a promo with Ted a couple days ago and we barely made it through it. So, it was rough.
You know what? Yeah, maybe Ted and the nation of France don't agree too much. I don't know.
You mean the French?
Oh, yes.
Well, we can't say the French anymore. That's what we've learned today.
But Twiglets are kind of like beer pretzels, kind of, but with what do you call that stuff? Yeast, Vegemite.
Okay.
Marmite on them, pretty much.
Okay.
And then baby octopi are exactly what they sound like.
I'll fuck with that.
I think the baby octopi were worse. I do wish I tried some of them like hydrated because I think they were like freeze dried.
Oh, okay.
But that was truly a hard thing to swallow.
The baby octopus?
Yeah.
Was it juicy?
No.
No, like, it was like dusty.
It was like kind of wiry, like it wasn't crunchy.
Like those Japanese kind of like torn up squid snacks people eat and stuff, where you go like jerky.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
The Twiglets, I don't know what they were disgusting. It tasted like burnt wood, and I couldn't stop eating.
Yeah,
them.
I ate like I bought a whole second.
So
bag.
weird.
They make your fingers smell so nasty.
Yeah. But they smelled bad. They tasted bad.
They have like nicotine.
I finished the whole bag.
Is it like tobacco?
Tobacco. I forgot about tobacco.
One of the in my mind, tobacco is a very modern Simpsons reference. Yeah. That's from 12 years ago.
Yeah, it's so long ago.
I was just like,
longer. Yeah. Twiglets are weird. I agree. They're good. They're just not good. They're
not good.
It's like when you get addicted
but I needed more.
When you bite your nails as a kid. You get addicted to the taste of the bad stuff your parents put on your nails to.
I love sucking zippers. The taste of the metal.
Sorry. One more time. Sucking zippers.
We got a pal named Zipper, so it's like a little
That's
weird.
That's why I was like, you like
for
sucking
most people,
zippers.
For most people, probably it's a normal.
Probably wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. I kind of know what you're talking about.
I like the metal flavor.
And the like little weird flavor from the like glue. I know what you're talking about.
All right. Next question. Dope Guy 420. Ted, what's it like being teddy bear / editor / not so great Pokedex / part of the crew for so long? What's it like working here, Ted?
It's great.
Great. Moving on.
Moving on. Great. All right.
Thank you, Dope Guy.
I love my life. Yeah.
Well, Ted, you've been here. You and Pat have been here, aside from Faciane. Ted and Pat have been here the longest out of everyone in the company.
No, Brett was here longer than me.
That's true.
I think you guys started working at the same time.
I started working the same time as Pat. Ted came after me.
Yeah, Ted.
That's
Ted
right.
was never.
But Ted, you weren't that far behind. Like I think
it wasn't that long.
I think Brett has about 6 months on you.
Mm-hmm.
But you were right after, and Roz had about 4 months on you because we got Roz first.
Right.
Then I interviewed you, and then you were in shortly.
I met Ted before he worked here because Pat came to my show.
That's right.
Pat came to my squid show, and I was like, "Where's your roommate at?" And he was like, "He got a headache. He had to go in the car."
I just walked around Chinatown and found some cockroaches.
Yo,
sweet.
I forgot we didn't hire Pat out the gate.
No, yeah, we interviewed with a bunch of people.
Pat was choice number 2. Emma was choice number 1, but that quickly became Emma got involved with the website, and then we needed someone to replace the position that she was going to do. So we called Pat very shortly after, but it was shortly after where we didn't end up calling Pat, and Pat went to one of Alex's shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Brought Ted with him.
So funny. Shout out Emma though. She was the best.
She was the
lunch
best
buddy.
She was amazing.
She always wanted to eat the good lunch.
Sorry, Ted. Did you actually want to answer that question?
Well, I just wanted to add that I'm doing a job that doesn't make me depressed, and that's the best.
Oh yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, people always ask about like, why can't you make Ted a beard bro? You know what I mean? Like, why can't he be a beard bro like us? And it's like, well, like, it's like, to me, Ted is as much on the show as any of us is. He just has like a different role. Like, I don't know how to explain that better. Like, Ted comes into the room and sits with us every time. It would be the same if he was over here, except we would just be fucked because we wouldn't know when anything happens. I wouldn't have access to any of the stuff that I have access to. You know, like, he's there. I don't know what to tell people about that, but he already is on the Beard Bros.
I think it's that thing of like, people are just like, well, why isn't he on the couch? And it's like, well, someone has to run the tech. Someone has to be behind the scenes.
Somebody has to play guitar. Somebody has to play bass. Somebody has to play drums.
It's like me being like, hey, YouTube comment section, do you want to be a beard bro? It's like, well, someone has to watch the content. Someone has to hang the lights and call action and cut. And
yeah, like imagine if like in a movie, like the editor's like, someday I'm going to be the star. It's like weird. It's like a weird, like way of understanding what's going on over here. We're like a business. We have a building where people have salaries and we all have skills and we do our jobs.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't seem that way because we're like loosey goosey magooseys.
It's like, why isn't the music guy in a talk show like standing next to the host.
Yeah.
Like, I like to be that music guy that just
that's what he wants. That's what he got here. Yeah, he's not like the sidekick who's eventually going to take over when we all die. It's like,
well, and that's the common
Ted to be Nightwing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's a common thing though that you see in the like YouTube zeitgeist is that like you see like a content creator's like, here's my podcast, and then like the
here's
person
super deluxe. Yeah,
and then here's the person who like there's only one completionist, one Alex, one Brett, but like eventually the side crew is like a part of the experience. And that's when they're like, when's Ted going to start his own Patreon?
It's funny that
when Ted's going to do his own thing.
It's funny that like a made up imaginary version of our pal Barry is like the template for what people expect editors to be.
Yeah, because Barry went from being the editor of the Game Grumps to
Barry has
being a streamer / game designer.
The difference is that Barry has never been an editor.
Right.
He was not an editor at the time. It was like, I don't know, he was editing, but like, I don't know.
He went to school for game design.
That's what I mean.
He wasn't trying to become an editor. He became one.
Yeah.
Because it was a job.
Yeah. Like Ted is like, he didn't like try out for the Beard Bros and we were like, let's put him on editor instead.
You know, Ted, you weren't out to be a Beard Bro, so we made you an editor. Like, no,
hosting, that's not your thing, but we love you on the computer.
Yeah.
And in a couple of years, if you play your cards right, you might be sitting right here.
And Ted, you've been adjacent enough to be a part of it. So like
he totally is. Like he's doing a Beard Bowl series like in a week. Like he's totally in there.
Oh,
if you had to like, if the Beard Bros got disassembled because like the Scarlet Witch said no more.
Yeah.
Right. And you were the last one left, and you had to bring one person on who's never been a Beard Bro to be a Beard Bro.
Who works here?
No,
just in general,
anybody.
So we're not allowed to bring. We can't bring any of us back, but we have to bring a new person in to.
You had to bring one person in to be with you to like.
Vision's dead.
Yeah, like
Captain
this is
America's
the show now.
Gone.
Yeah,
this is the show now. Who
we've moved on?
Norm.
Ooh, Norm the gaming historian. That's a good answer.
Norm is great because he's very, very popular, but nobody knows how funny he is.
Yeah, that's very true.
Nobody knows that he
is incredibly smart and incredibly funny.
Yeah, like he's been watching The Simpsons and he's been watching all the good comedy and he has the timing. He has it all.
Yeah.
I'll bring him in. Or like, I don't know. I feel like Kelly's cheating.
It's a valid answer.
Sure.
Like we already did it all though. You know what I mean?
Hey,
like,
the decks.
Yeah. But like somebody with like some skill. Somebody who's quick.
I feel like I would have to like bust out my old Rolodex and like call up like Wysocki or Kurt
That's
Maloney.
a good one.
Yeah. You know, Jacob did a whole show with us.
I think so. Yeah.
We played through the Subspace Emissary with Jacob.
Like somebody from that
I
world.
remember that for some weird reason.
It was at the old office.
Oh, that's right.
Like, you know who I wish was still around and I would invite in a heartbeat? Abel.
Abel Arias?
Yes. You don't know him, but like, guy we should do improv with.
That dude was my
in a heartbeat.
That dude was my homie at Comedy Sports for a while. We did all our shows together. That guy was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick someone more recently that I've interacted with, I would probably pick either Will Neff from G4.
Dude's funny.
Dude's very funny, very talented, very smart, great at impressions, very overall like 10 out of 10 performer. Kasim G.
Another one
that's just a goddamn funny man. Or Aaron from the Game Grumps. I think the three of them are so different from each other that like any kind of configuration pod with me and them would be fun.
I bring my friend Jamie Lee Curtis on.
Right. No, I want to get Cisco in here.
Yeah.
No, honestly, a me and Cisco show, I would quit immediately.
Yeah.
Like me and Cisco would take over the world.
To you, yeah. Oh my God. I would
take over the world.
I would watch the shit out of that. Cisco, if you're listening.
Only Dragon Games.
Yeah. Dude, Enter the Dragon is the name of the show. Enter the Dragons.
Yeah. Enter the Dragons.
You love Bruce Lee and he actually just loves dragons.
The starting episode is Double Dragon.
Oh, can you imagine?
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Just talking about Obobo. Like,
Yeah.
Cisco, if you're out there.
Oh, God.
Ted, if you had to be on Beer Bros, who would you take with you?
We're all dead.
We're all dead.
Young
we can't
Justice
come back.
has to take over. The editor finally gets to take his rightful place.
This is your throne. Who do you take with you? Phil?
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, that's a good one. Phil
That's
Daddario.
a super solid one.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Phil Daddario?
He's like friend of the show, friend of the pod.
Yeah, he's
Phil.
Phil. We went to high school with Phil.
I've known him from Comedy Sports since
he was in my show God of Work as my villain.
He was like the HR guy, right?
He was David of HR.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that man is so sweet.
Very
Keeps the
talented.
Conversation flowing.
Always brings a cake to the party. He's killer.
Yeah.
Shows up with the good sweets. Okay, so that's it for question time. And now we're going to move in to another very similarly themed part of the show that we do every time, which is the fan Q&A. Hey. This is an ongoing segment. This is a little different than the previous one. This is like a question that we asked last time that we answered. So first, I'm going to ask the question again to Jirard so you can get your answer on the record.
Sure.
Would you rather live in a society during its ascendancy or decline, and why?
You can think about it while we read some of these answers if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, we could take a couple. So
sure.
So first one's from PK Kirby. You want to take it?
Okay.
They're all long this time. Don't worry.
That makes sense. Okay. PK Kirby says, I would rather live in a society during its ascendancy. Getting to experience new advancements in society that change our community for the better sounds very uplifting. While things might be tough at the start, I think that seeing things improve as life goes on can give you an extra spring in your step to keep going when the going gets tough. While those who choose decline will start off with a lot of cool things, the end will not be a pleasurable. Just having to live with the fact that you never got to truly experience the peak of your society is a sour note to end life on. I want to read that one more time. Just having to live with the fact that you never got to truly experience the peak of your society is a sour note to end life on. You could even make the point that people trying to recreate that peak will ultimately bury the society faster than it took to ascend. If I get to exit life knowing that things are on the up and up for my family and society as a whole, that's good enough for me. All of this makes sense to me, except that one sentence in the middle. Just having to live with the fact that you never got to truly experience the peak of your society is a sour note to end life on.
I guess if you knew.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you're living in the ascendancy,
how would you know?
Which PK Kirby wants to do, live in the ascendancy, you'll never know if you're living during the peak.
Unless Metron comes and is like, would you rather live at the actual ascendancy or the actual decline of your civilization?
So, yeah, like you make this point about that'd be sour, but like, I feel like everyone does that because no one knows.
Yeah.
That being said,
not really something I think about too often in an active sense.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But all of this makes sense to me. I get it. Yeah. Like seeing things improve, whether it be very slowly, almost imperceptibly slow over time, probably a little bit encouraging. Makes sense to me.
It's kind of like, like a different angle on the same answer I gave last time where I'm just like, I gotta know, Yeah. Vibes.
Thanks, PK Kirby.
Thanks, PK. Next one comes from Arn Ice, who says, I think I would ideally rather want to be in a society in ascension. I guess it can be difficult to notice it while you're in the thick of it. Similar about noticing an incoming already happening decline, which is basically what we just said. But looking forward to discoveries, seeing steady pace of breakthroughs, and at least active attempts at trying to find better ways of energy production and so on. I'd like to think that if I were to notice a sharp decline of things, I'd try to do what I can to slow it down or hold the line in some way. Preserving knowledge that might be at risk of being lost, trying to keep up scientific methods, at least in a management sense, like population estimates and such. While I wouldn't prefer to be in the decline, I do think I have a mentality that could be helpful in such times. Similar to Interstellar, if I'd grown older to see blatant ignorance like we actually never went to the moon, I'd at least try and find and preserve any knowledge about what we now know of space, even if it might be a little, or whatever else humanity will be sticking their head in the sand about or just losing track of in less intentional ways. The thinking that hopefully it could help a sort of revival in some future where maybe we got through a dark era and are making some sort of ascension again. All that said, I'd still prefer the ascension, I think, as much as riding the highs of a decline could be personally beneficial, is maybe kind of selfish way. Decline has more ifs and strife involved, not that ascension period could not also be fraught with difficulties. Not sure how well constructed or well worded this is. I started with just a few simple thoughts since ascension is perhaps somewhat the of course between the two. I think I could find my place in both though. That's kind of interesting to assume most people are going to pick ascendancy. I feel like they would. That's true. But I feel like it takes almost like a joker to say decline a little bit.
Maybe.
A little bit. But I think the key thing is, and this is like something we got into last time, is like ascension and decline for who? Human race?
That's the thing is that I feel like
Your nation, maybe.
I shouldn't comment until we get to the end.
That's it. That's the end of that question. So you can jump in if you want right now.
Well, what I was just going to say is it feels like ascension and descension of things. It's hard to be like society will descend and explode, but it feels like certain parts of industry experience ascension and descension more so nowadays than like the whole societal collapsation of a country or a person, right? Like if, like you could argue that Netflix and streaming services, while it ascended, was the descend of Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, the rental service industry, if you will. So I feel like more of that is way more likely and common nowadays than like an actual ending of society.
Well, okay,
but here's the thing.
Let's say America, though.
Yeah, like it's not that long ago. Like nations just cease to exist sometimes.
Yeah.
Even today. Like there used to be a USSR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were there for that.
Yeah.
And now it's not. Like, so it could happen. Like
even like Germany is like not an old country.
Yeah, the USA, like it could become 3 different countries for all we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think you're in the ascension or decline now?
That's the thing. That's why I brought up industry, because it feels like the industries. Like if you ask me that, I would tell you that the YouTube industry and content creation industry is on a massive decline.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what about like America itself?
Itself? I think we're currently on an ascension. I think we're coming back.
Coming
down?
Coming back from being down. Like I feel like we were on a decline for almost a whole decade, but I feel like now we're starting to.
It seems like you're only talking about economy.
I'm talking about like advancements of technology and like policy and like.
Do you think we're closer to being the best that America can be or destroyed?
I think we're getting closer, but not by much.
Like, let me put it this way. What do you think is more likely to happen? That America will become better than it's ever been before, and whatever that means to you, or that America will cease to be? What is more likely to you?
Actually, considering the current zeitgeist of the current government and social media and the war of it all, I would say probably a decline. I think we're trying
doomsday clock.
Yeah. I mean, the doomsday clock has never been closer.
Well, it's just weird because we grew up in the Clinton and the Bush era,
best era for Americans, period. Probably.
Well, we took those for granted to a degree, right? We were young kids. We didn't really give a shit. Like we just thought like, then Obama came into office and we were like, hell yeah, this feels like we're going the right way. But like in actuality, in 2 decades of politics and ascension of society, like nothing really changed.
And somebody from Alabama might completely disagree with you.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's based on the region of where we grew up, right?
Right.
Like we all on the West Coast have a different viewpoint than someone in Iowa who has a farm and 6 cousins.
Let's shout out Alabama. It's a beautiful state. I'm not trying to
shout outs to Alabama.
I'm not trying to the French Alabama. I'm just
the Alabamians.
We all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Kevin Van D said, while I was growing up, I think we had a potential ascendancy come about during the evolution of technology in the 90s and the early 2000s. I think we've since passed a peak to that very rise very recently and are potentially in the early stages of a decline. While I'm not sure how much it says about the state of the world during my lifespan, I can at least say that the last few years of my life have been the happiest that they've ever been. Well, congratulations. At least from my admittedly privileged and self-interested perspective, this decline has been working out great for me so far, and I would hope that others can find as much happiness as I have during what may be some of our bleakest years that have yet to come.
What an answer. It's like, listen, we may be in a decline, maybe. That being said,
I'm having a fucking blast.
I'm fucking killing it.
I'm doing great. Kevin, I'm happy for you, Kevin.
That sounds kind of like cold in a way, but at the same time, I'm like 100% guilty of being like, oh my God, I'm going to London. It's going to be so cheap over there. Like that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's fine. I just think it's funny that like, he said we're in a decline, but there's like no reason for it. Like there's no evidence, here. So I don't know why he feels that way.
Well, he says from his privileged and self-interested perspective.
I still don't understand like why he feels the way that he feels. Like why he feels that we're in a decline.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
Like it's clear he feels that way.
He says technology evolved and that was the thing. And then we passed like a some sort of point where we can't get that anymore. Now we're in a decline.
I don't know if I agree or understand that, but
I don't know. I don't know if it's the tech. I mean,
because tech is still very much, we were just talking about it at the very beginning of this podcast. Tech is still definitely advancing,
Yeah.
I mean,
but tech is only one way to tech can keep getting more and more impressive and complex. But at the same time, show me them literacy rates. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of metrics. There's so many metrics with which we could potentially judge this thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're not necessarily talking about
We were just talking about how few people read today. So how much does literacy even mean anymore? It's so weird.
You ever want to feel like shit? Just watch an episode of Kids React on the Fine Bros channel. And it's kids react to the Game Boy. And they're like, does it have a touch screen?
That makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Right. But then you start to realize too, that it's it kind of comes from a place of
losing touch with the physical world.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's understandable. I understand why kids wouldn't know how to work a Game Boy for sure.
I vibe with that.
I'm worried about kids, our society more so than ever thinking that how people post online or in media, whatever, whether it be social or media is how things actually work. I feel like before, if you go back to let's say the 40s or whatever, people think oh, Hollywood, glitz and glamour. Our world doesn't work like that though. Right. But nowadays, I wonder how many people think that's attainable. And it's the way my world works too.
Lots.
I feel like that number's a lot different today.
Context and everything is so gone now.
Exactly. So technology getting better and better. Let's say for the shits and giggles, our economy was killing it too. But when you look at things like that, it makes me wonder, are we ascending or are we declining? I don't fucking know. And that's kind of the point.
There's probably people who've never been to a restaurant who order delivery all the time.
Say that one more time.
There's probably people who've literally never sat down to eat at a restaurant, literally, who have ordered food all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Either that, I agree that to an extent.
Imagine you're 12 and you're rich, for example.
But I think if you're rich, your parents take you out to the hoity-toity place.
If they care about you or look at you or talk to you. I'm just saying, I think that person already exists and has been born. That person who's never been to a restaurant but orders food. Or the person who has never been to a bookstore yet reads. It's so weird. Or doesn't know who Shakespeare is.
I'll believe that last one. Someone who's never been to a bookstore but still reads. Sure.
Well, that's why reaction channels on YouTube are so explosive, because the new medium is
how fast can we remove context?
Well, yeah. Everything? Well, so for example, one of the coolest reaction videos I've ever seen is there's a black guy on YouTube who never heard Rage Against the Machine.
Sure.
And so he was like, I don't know what this is about. Everyone's saying it's political. I'm going to listen to it. And just seeing the dude enjoy Rage Against the Machine and ingest the lyrics in real time and getting goosebumps of being so hype about it.
He's younger.
Yeah, I'd say he's probably
20?
in his 20, maybe he's 2021, right? Maybe even a little younger.
How long?
But he's just in vibing to holy shit, this is so good. How did I not hear about it?
Sure.
It's almost like watching somebody eat a hamburger for the first time, right? There's so many pockets of a discoverability now because of technology and advancements. But at the same time, going to your point about literacy, Brett, I think that we generally are a dumber society. I think it's because
dumber in an old way.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on how you define dumber.
Right.
I don't know if I could put my finger on that.
I don't know. Maybe dumber's not the thing.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if literacy is up. I think tons of people are reading now.
I bet.
But when it comes to their comprehension, I don't know.
Literacy in the sense that they can sound out the words and understand what the words mean,
right.
Probably high.
Yeah.
Literacy in the sense that you could read an essay about something and you can understand it and write your own essay.
Yeah.
But literacy, not just comprehension,
okay.
Do you know what I say when I mean wherefore art thou? And I'm making an allusion to something that you maybe have never heard of before. And I think
cultural education as well.
That's what I mean by literacy is knowing what those things are that I'm talking about. You can read the words, you can comprehend the words, but can you comprehend the context? I think that's that's really missing today. That's really crazy.
Thinking about high school and college, right? We all went through the ringer in that degree. When you read history books, right, you would see photos or quotes or things of famous people going through a lot, right? And of the time, right? But if you were to look back in the last decade at a more modernized contextual book that's like the social media wars of the 2010s, right? Like,
Okay.
what are we going to read in there? Is it going to be like the Great War of the Completionist versus Greg? Like, like what is the like
context?
The context. Like, what was the big moment in the last 10 years of in the social media era of technology that is so important that we teach our youth to care about? Because it's different, right?
I think there's tons of things. Really, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. But if you are indeed asking,
I guess what I'm saying is,
yeah, please go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You were gonna.
If you are indeed asking what is so important about social media that it's worthy including in like history books and history courses, I think there's tons.
Sure.
History, social media's influence on people psychologically.
Sure.
Social media's influence on like politics.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Social media's influence on like the economy and like how people choose to spend their money and shit like that.
Yeah.
I think all that shit is probably gonna be talked about.
Yeah.
That
is the, you answered my question, because in my point of view, I'm like, no one's going to give a fuck about
the completionist,
like not the completionist, but like YouTube cancel culture or
I think they will, but it's going to be a paragraph.
There's just
talking about the far right movement and
sure.
There's just no more history book is really the answer. Like the amount of work.
I mean, half the country is banning books or burning them.
What I mean is just like, okay, if you think about, let's just go back to like not even that long ago. Let's go to like 1992.
Yeah.
1993. So we can go 30 years back. 1992.
Go ahead now.
Really similar world to now in a lot of ways. Visually, like you could walk out into the streets and you could kind of be like, I know where I'm at. You wouldn't be like Hill Valley 1955. Even though it's 30 years ago, we still kind of...
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's a comfortable world to exist in for somebody from 2023.
I see what you're saying.
For the most part. Mm-hmm. However, the amount of work that it took to get something that you made, be it a poem to a short film, anything, the amount of work and hoops that you have to jump through to get to that point that anybody else can see it.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge.
You're absolutely right.
And so for me now, there is going to be a million history books, and now you have to basically choose what reality you live in, which is kind of like the death of everybody says death of the author. It's more about death of the winners. There's no winners anymore. Like everybody always says history's written by the winners.
Right.
History's already being written right now by somebody who wants to influence the future.
But that's real. Cause like, yeah, before there was like a handful of history books. Most of them agreed on most of the shit because there was usually only one, as you put it, winner. There was only a handful of winners. But now there was only a handful of voices because only the only voices existed from the quote unquote winners.
Yeah.
But now everyone has a voice.
Yeah. America.
Wow.
America.
What a statement.
America used to get all its information from like 1,000 people, period. And now it's like millions, billions.
True.
It's
worldwide on your phone in the matter of seconds.
I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but just like any tool, we are going, in my opinion, we are going through the major severe growing pains of learning how to safely, respectably use that tool.
The graceful transition is the challenge.
Graceful my ass.
Yeah, the graceful transition is the challenge. Like getting us to shift from one way of living to the other. Like I'm not that worried about like Zoomers. I'm worried about millennials and Gen X and boomers.
I'm worried about everybody.
We're slowly, the more weird the world gets, like, like I say, like 1923 to 1993, everybody's pretty much doing the same shit. Like there's a few generic advances here and there that kind of like make things a little bit easier. But like I used to watch I Love Lucy 15 years ago.
Right.
And now people don't even know who Lucille Ball is.
That's where my head's at, right? Like when someone's like, hey, remember this? And it's like the Animaniacs. And everyone's like, whoa, what is this? And it's like,
everything makes
so
much
staple.
More sense.
This was a part of our culture. Yeah.
People are like, why does this movie look bad?
Pop culture when we were kids had about 40 channels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop culture now is like satellite TV.
Yeah.
In that you have 3,000 channels.
We will be nostalgic as the Beard Bros and Completionist brand.
We already are.
For so many people. We are. We've been around for 11 years now.
People always tell me, they're like in college and they're like, I watch you in middle school and I jump off a bridge. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Next one comes from Robert Chrisley, who says, Ascent or descent? I'd rather be on the ascent. As a father, I much prefer the idea that even if things in my adult life are tenuous or outright horrific even, they're getting better, and my kids will inherit a more progressive, advanced, egalitarian world than what I grew up in. I think what doesn't make this obvious is where you are in the process. If the time period were feudal Scotland, like Braveheart, you might have a real screw it, burn it down mentality. Conversely, if I were a single man, I would have a Braveheart outlook on the world and just want to watch the world burn. Oh shit. Love y'all, Beard Bros. Keep it up. It's like Batman and Robin.
Robert brings up a good point.
Batman and Robert.
I think all of us have been so far thinking about this in generally selfish POV.
Sure.
But like, yeah, if you have kids, I think this is definitely going to skew.
Of course you want the ascendancy. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want it to be better.
Yeah. That makes sense.
If you, I guess.
I feel like I should have refined this question a little bit more now that I'm reading these answers, actually.
Okay.
I mean, that's the whole point of this. It's
what would you have changed about the question?
I think I would have changed it to be like, would you rather live in the ascendancy, but both those times are like pretty near each other? Because ascendancy could mean you're at the bottom of the mountain.
Right.
Or it could mean you're at the top of the mountain, but not quite there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are two different worlds.
Yeah, like peak or gutter, maybe more.
Yeah, I feel like the question should be, would you rather be in the ascendancy or descendancy when you're both like either both at the bottom, you know what I mean? On either side, both at the middle or both at the top. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this shit, are you here in the middle or here at the bottom? I would have chosen one of those three and specified that, I think.
Yeah,
to make it more. That's
sure.
all. That's all.
Last one's for you.
Artemis says, I think if there is no immediate indication of your distance from the apex, and there it is, the obvious to me answer is living the ascendancy. The amount of technological and cultural discovery through that period. What?
Versus?
The amount of technological and cultural discovery through that period, vice the stifling?
Versus the stifling.
You think so?
Yeah.
Got it. Through that period versus the stifling that tends to coincide with the descendancy, can be, though not always, enough uplifting progress that it softens the blow of the growing pains. However, I think if I were to be able to see the whole timeline as a line graph, and see the apex and pick when to live, I believe I'd rather live in the descendancy shortly after the apex. Makes sense, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You want to live the glory days.
You want to live right when the roller coaster's going down.
Sip the cream off the top and then die.
You want to be in the tail end of the attitude era before ruthless aggression.
Yeah.
Dude, that actually probably is weirdly apt.
Yeah.
The gray area of the timeline where discovery is still high, but there isn't quite the daily notion that things seem to be and or are getting worse. To take Alex's scale of the 1950 to 80s being the ascendancy, I'll put the 90s in this area. Oh, that's depressing.
Ooh.
And we'll pick that zone. Please don't tell me that. Please don't tell me.
They're absolutely the greatest time to be an American.
Oh, dude, don't tell me that.
The 90s?
I think it depends, but don't tell me that.
I mean, definitely it depends, but 90s was like the closest we got to the dream of the middle class.
I don't know if that's true.
I think I agree with you, Alex.
I don't know if that, I think that might be your bubble speaking.
That's like me, the white guy who's 35.
That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
I think that's your bubble speaking.
Yeah.
Anyway, Artemis continues. I think I'd choose that because I see that as kind of the last hurrah that I'd be seeing the peak of what that civilization to be right, or at the least the peak of the achieved goals of that civilization. The romantic idea of a goodbye sits well with me. Yeah, I think Artemis is also speaking from a bubble. Because like, let me put it this way. You know how people romanticize like the 50s?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, poodle skirts and and I swear, I know it's been covered before, I know, in some sketch show, but like, I want to do it. Every time someone romanticizes that era, as a black person, I keep going, fuck the 50s, man. That shit sucks, dude. So anytime we sit here and are like romanticizing the 90s, and I get it, because I was there and I also had a good time as a kid with no responsibilities, I can't help but think of like, what if I were gay? Like that shit would probably suck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It definitely would, but it sucks to be gay now compared to being me right now. Already, like at any time. Like all I'm saying is, if we're looking at America as a civilization, if we're picking America, the thing about the 50s for me is more about the fact that it's after World War II and we like literally we
won and things are on the up and
magnifying glass of Earth like came to us in the 50s.
Alex, I get it.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I'm just saying, to me, the thing that I'm not thinking about poodle skirts when I'm thinking about the ascendancy.
I'm not talking about you.
In this case, it's
but I'm not talking about. I wasn't talking about this. I'm talking about as an example, as an allegory, like the whole when people nostalgize about the 50s. I can't help but smirk a little bit.
Yeah, there's a reason why everybody's fucking Sandra D in the 50s.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I get it. Certain things were awesome about the 50s. Certain things were not quite so awesome about the 50s. And I guess what I'm saying, as much as we wax nostalgic about the 90s, and trust me, I do it too.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that that's probably because of every motherfucker in this room is privileged as shit in the grand scheme of things, right? Sure. So you disagree?
I'm saying, like, to say that any American is not extremely privileged compared to everybody is like absolute lunacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're extremely privileged in this fucking room.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking to myself, man, I'll bet there's people out there who would just disagree with that sentiment and even the sentiment that Artemis is bringing up because they're not in our bubble for whatever reason. Maybe they're not American. Maybe they're not able-bodied. Maybe they didn't have as much money as our parents had. And maybe they were like fucking gay. And like the 90s may have been a real rough time for them. And I'm not just saying that to disagree. I just think that's like interesting to think about.
It is. It's weird to look at the civilization as a whole. Mm-hmm. It's weird to say the French, you know?
I'd love to say the French.
But real talk, like like you're hitting it right on the head. It's like ascendancy for who?
Exactly.
Decline for who?
Yeah.
If we're talking about the country of America, the GDP, I'm probably right. You know what I mean? But like culturally, for like the thing being, especially with America as the example, where we're like the nation of many nations, we like map our own realities onto each other's realities. We're like a giant Disneyland. Like we have a fucking weird, I don't know that we're going to decline. Like, I don't think we're going to end the way that normal stuff ends. I think it's going to be way weirder. But also the idea that the fiddle is going to play as we burn, that seems to be at the end of this, like the romantic idea of a goodbye. It's like,
what, like the band going down with the Titanic?
Yeah. I think it's going to look a lot more like a big explosion and then like some dust.
Remember Terminator 2?
Yeah. That's kind of like more of a end to me. Like,
right. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah. There was the Holy Roman Empire after the Roman Empire. And you could kind of say maybe they're the same empire. I don't know. You know, like who knows what end is, right?
Thank you, Artemis.
And that's it for this week's question.
But did you ever answer the question? Like, would you rather
I think I did.
Well, what's your answer?
Ascendancy or descendancy?
I think I would rather be in ascendancy.
Understandable. But why?
To me, it's a technological thing. I think it's like with the rise of like cancer treatments and like, as a guy who has a incredibly difficult rare blood disease that no one knows anything about except for my doctors, like I'd rather live in a world where where the solutions for my health problems are available. At the same time, though, the descendancy side of me is like, I couldn't afford it because
that's the thing though. But here's the thing. If it's descendancy though, you have a better chance of that technology already existing.
Yeah. I guess that's
based
true.
on pure probability.
I guess that's true.
Because if it's during descendancy, you're like, either you have the tech, or you were never going to have the tech.
You're getting on the ark and you're already gone
either you
in
have
space.
it or you were never going to have
maybe the descendancy
if you're rich, if you're like rich, it might be all right to be in the descendancy, but that's kind of what we're saying again, right?
Sure. If
you're rich, you can be on either side of the mountain. You're good to go, right?
Like, like if you're rich, like
descent doesn't matter.
You're in the ark, you know, you're Guy Pearce, and this is a little Prometheus. You know, this is
I always get picking it up.
This is you flying to the other end of the galaxy to ask God why they made you. You know what I mean? Like that's the rich decline.
Sure.
But nobody gets to choose whether they're that.
No.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. If that's where your head is at, I don't know. That's tight. Like, what's it like in your island layer?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just got to pop up that said Xbox sent a message.
Xbox just sent me a growl on the system computer to let me know they're going to take video games away.
Games are going away, guys.
Yeah. It seems like maybe this thing where all the companies become one company wasn't all that good. All right. This week's question. Last thing we got to do today before we're out of here. This week's question is, what was one question that you wish someone asked Jirard today that no one did?
What the fuck?
Now, what we do today is we all go around in a circle. We answer this question now so that next time when people come back, they
have an idea of what to ask.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my
what
gosh.
was one question that you wish someone asked Jirard today that no one did? I'm surprised personally, as somebody who read every response, that not one person asked one question about G4 at all. Zero.
You know what?
I did not mention don't ask about G4.
Do you know, but you know why that makes my heart so warm? It's because hopefully
it's already gone.
No. The Beer Bros audience that was or was not watching G4 or cared about G4 trusted me to know that I did my best.
Yeah.
You know, like the perception about G4 was like, it was a shit show, it was crazy and whatnot. But
I don't even think that was the perception.
Well, I mean,
that was like my perception as like a guy who understands how the sausage is made.
Sure.
Like I don't have to have any insider knowledge to guess how it is at G4. Sure. Right. But I'm just surprised that no one even wanted to be like, what's Chasm like?
I guarantee you, most people didn't even know G4 was back, let alone that I was a part of it.
That just seems, it's just wild that nobody asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just, I didn't even know you were coming in today. I didn't know today was the day. But you could probably tell just by like it's probably very easy to tell which episodes of the podcast I'm in charge of. Like if you could easily put them into like 2 or 3 categories every episode of this fucking show.
I'll agree with that.
And I really like to make people, these guys, and maybe hopefully the audience at home a little bit, just like think a little bit with the podcast topics that I bring up.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm disappointed by, not that I'm surprised by, but I'm disappointed that no one asked a question that really made you uncomfortable, because that's one of my favorite things to do.
Is to make me uncomfortable or make people uncomfortable?
People, but like you a lot.
In this case, it was like ask Jirard questions. So
yeah.
Went for it.
Cause like I that's my pleasure is like, cause like the questions that I pose to these guys, they'll take them. I'll make them a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe I'll make them think a little bit.
Sure.
But they might break you down. And I really want that to happen. Like I put, the trolley problem and shit. I want to put you there.
Let's go.
I remember fucking you up with the death penalty and shit. Like
I thought about that one for a month. Shit fucking
that makes me so happy to hear. Oh yeah, I'm just surprised.
I'd be in bed and being like, I feel this way today. Fuck it, I'm wrong. Never mind.
Yeah, man. I'm surprised nobody hit you with a question that made you go, ooh,
Yeah, and I can say honestly from like that same perspective, I've seen every response. I did not edit around somebody who tried.
There was nothing even close to something that would make Jirard like
nothing that I thought maybe I shouldn't include this one.
Right.
Yeah. Nothing like that.
I was like, no question. That's like, Jirard, if you could like had to go to hell to protect Amanda, would you do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you kill your friend to save your dog?
Right. That kind of shit.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
What about you?
What question am I disappointed that no one asked me?
The question is, what was one question that you wish someone asked Jirard today?
That you wished.
You wish.
I don't fucking know. You know what it is? The questions that were asked to me weren't very personal about me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I wish is I wish the questions were actually more about my opinion and insight on me as opposed to like
on yourself, how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. Me as the person or me
as opposed to like, how's it fun is it to be at TOVG?
Yeah. Well, make a game about this. Like making it more, I guess the disappointment is what the questions I'm disappointed in is no one asked about me.
Yeah.
They didn't?
No wrestling questions either. I was surprised.
I don't think we have a lot of wrestling fans in the Beer Bros community.
Dude,
I think you might be a little surprised.
I think you might be.
I think you might be surprised.
Yeah, wrestling fans sound off. Just go to The Completionist on Twitter and say,
here we go.
Send your promos to Jirard.
I think they're sleepers like me, like Omega Sentinels. I think there are people.
Omega Sentinels.
You remember them? They were terrifying.
Yes.
Like, I think there are people that were programmed back in the day and they were there for the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And like me, they just stopped watching wrestling in like 2000. Yeah. But if you brought it up
during the decline.
Precisely. Yeah. If you brought it up, they would all of a sudden and reactivate.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what most of them are.
You got like big opinions about like The Rock and Stone Cold?
It's not that I have big opinions, but like
you were there for that.
He was there.
Like, so Jirard asked me today before we started recording, like, hey man, did you see Royal Rumble? I'm like, no, like I haven't watched wrestling in 20 years.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to talk about the Four Horsemen and like, you know, old school wrestling, like I'll do it.
Yeah. People our age.
Yeah.
They're the wrestling.
I'm telling you,
teams.
we were there.
Yeah.
There's too many places that I've been that I consider to be like hip, cool, cultured places that I've seen wrestling fans for me to believe that it's not like a big thing right now. I feel like people love it. Shout outs in the comments. The low key question is, do you watch wrestling and will you bother Jirard about it? Ted, what about you? What's something that you wish somebody asked Jirard today that no one did?
It's funny. I basically echoing Jirard's statement, but I just came up with a question I want to ask.
Do it.
What is it?
When in the years I've known you, you've been very like goal oriented and like focused on kind of a singular goal.
Yeah.
And when you first mentioned about like maybe working with G4, you were like, this is like what I'm going to make happen.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to put all of my like attention and resources into.
Yeah.
And now I'm just, I know you have a lot of spinning plates and there's like being successful is like obviously the goal, but like, is there a new like thing you've really are passionate about, you have set your sights on?
Yes, there's a few things. To me, and this is going to sound very like CEO buzzwordy talk. To me, the thing that I am most focused on, this was the goal I had before during the pandemic.
Getting more people to come to the theme parks.
It's you're not wrong. Yeah. No, the goal that I'm setting my sights on is I want to secure the future of this company. And YouTube in the last 2.5, 3 years, especially with things like social media, the canceling of a couple of my friends, the canceling of G4 and how it all nuclear went down.
Two different types of canceling.
But the fact that I was so close to both and just subsequently feeling those, I guess I want to say like 4th degree burns of those actions.
That's scary shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't recovered from them. I'm still, I feel like I'm still in the hospital because I haven't really figured out how to get back in that saddle of progression of growing the company. But the biggest goal I have is to secure our future. I want to stop stressing out about the bank. You know what I mean? Like, full disclosure, G4 paid me a lot of money. But the first thing I did with that money, and it's still true, is that I just put it back here in the company. And I basically worked for G4 for free to ensure that our future is secured for the next 6 to 9 months. And to me, the next steps and my goal is to make it so that none of us are stressing out, that we have a consistent revenue model that doesn't require YouTube or uploads or Patreon. And that's the thing I cared about the most, because YouTube has taught me in the last 18 months that we could just wake up and Beard Bros is gone. We could just wake up and Completionist is gone. And all the hard work we've done for over a decade is just gone. And it's not that I have no, if you told me today, Jirard, close it down, I'll close it down. I will feel incredibly defeated because all of us have put so much of our blood, sweat, and tears into this place. The idea of getting a new job doesn't scare me. It's, I don't want to admit defeat. I'm too stubborn to be like, well, this thing is going down. I have to fight with every last breath that there will be a future for us here. And that's my goal, is to provide a future so that we're not worried about getting our paychecks next week. Because that's how I feel. Like I genuinely have an anxiety knot in my chest every morning and every evening when I go to bed. And it's, I hope to God that some sponsor or some rich billionaire or someone emailed me and said, hey, here's your next opportunity, kid, make use of it. So that to me is where, did I answer your question? I feel like I did.
Yeah, I think so.
As a commenter, Ted is satisfied. But that's where we leave it today. Again, the question is, what was one question that you wish someone asked Jirard today that no one did? And like always, going forward, I'm going to take some answers from the YouTube side and some answers from the Patreon side. But as you saw today, there's still a lot of benefits to becoming a patron. All those other questions were all patron asked, and you can get there, patreon.com/superbeardbros, where you can join the tier, have a good time. You get the episodes announced to you so you never miss one.
Yep.
And, eventually when we start putting ads on the show, if it gets to that size, the Patreon version will be ad free forever. And, that's just how it is right now.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for listening. I've been Alex.
I'm Brad.
I'm Jirard.
And I'm Ted.
And we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you all for writing in. We appreciate it.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You got him. You got him.
Bye. Bye.
This is Podcast 15 featuring the one and only Jirard.
Jirard.
That's me, Jirard.
Mr. Black.
Jirard, Mr. Black.
Mr. Joe Black.
Gentlemen,
Meet Joe Black.
to evil.
That might be like my favorite joke in the entire show of The Simpsons.
It's pretty funny.
Gentlemen, to evil.
To evil.
Or the one where Leonard Nimoy's like,
Didn't I?
didn't I?
But you didn't do anything.
Just leaves.
Didn't I? No. The world needs laughter. He doesn't leave. He beams away.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Universal Studios is when you go to the Simpsons ride, they just play like the best of moments from Simpsons.
Yeah.
You just sit that's the only attraction in the park where if it breaks down, I'm happy. Because I can just sit there and watch them all.
Me and Kelly literally sat there the other night for 35 minutes watching the entire ride televisions from Back to the Future.
Yeah. I was happy when I got that like box set.
Yeah.
Because like that show's on there. I'm like, oh, then I'm good for life, man.
Dude, my uncle has a gaming, like this like recliner chair thing, and it has D-Box in it.
Sure.
And the Back to the Future thing is keyed to D-Box. So when you do the ride, it's like,
oh, when you watch the ride, it makes you feel like you're in it.
yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it makes you feel
but
like
it like has all the rumbles via like your subwoofers and stuff.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Very much so.
I thought we started.
No, here we go. Ready?
That was the podcast.
I gotta do my Smexy.